Notaledge Radio presents Hakim Bey, Changing Reality Matrix 4.0. Join us at Notaledge Radio as we welcome back our master scholar, Hakim Bey, as he shares his discovery of the way to change reality. Prepare for the end of the Matrix 4.0 and the beginning of the Matrix 5.0. Topics discussed. 1. Could it be possible that what we call reality is really a computer-generated virtual reality program? 2. What is the true nature of God, man, and nature? 3. Is the universe really a vast computer? If so, what is its operating system? 4. Is what we call life really a program being run by the operating system of the universe? 5. Are our physical bodies really avatars, which we operate within this virtual reality program that we call the real world? 6. If the universe is really a vast computer within the operating system, what is that operating system? What is the nature of it? 7. Are our bodies as avatars, computer terminals sharing the same operating system as the universe? 8. What is the programming language of this shared universal operating system? And can we use this programming language to create programs to run on this universal operating system and GE reality? Can you build on that? Because you wrote it. Yeah.
Say that again? Just read the description. Like, just read the descriptions. There's 12 of them.
9. Why is the current world order referred to as 4.0? What is the nature of 4.0? 10. Why is the new world order referred to as 5.0? And what is the nature of 5.0? 11. How should we prepare for the transition of the Matrix 4.0 to 5.0, which is underway now? 12. What will the new social economic system be like for divine sovereigns in Matrix 5.0? Very deep, bro. Very, very, very deep. You know what I'm saying? This sounds like a 2-part show.
It sounds like a 3-part show, if you ask me. But it sounds, and it also, it sounds very visual. But we're going to allow our brother, Hakim Bey, to come forth and inform the family about, what he has in store for the dissemination of this powerful information. So this is actually part 2 of a 3-series presentation that he's going to be doing this week. Last night he was on a radio show. Tonight he's on our show. And tomorrow, Wednesday, he will be live and direct at National Black Theater in Harlem for my New York family, for my tri-state family. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many of y'all are even aware that there's Monday classes and Wednesday classes that have been going on consecutively in Harlem, starting at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., where you can always come to meet the family, greet the family, pick up products, sign up, buy literature, eat some good food. All kind of things are available every single week. I mean, we don't really talk about it, but it's there. This is a class that is run by Ras Mariah Bey and Taj Tariq Bey, and on Monday is Ali Muhammad and ISIS. So tomorrow the brother will be doing his presentation at the class, the Moorish Civics and Heritage class with Ras Mariah Bey and Taj Tariq. And I wish I was in the town to see that. But for the family that is in the town, just weigh it out. Things that you could be doing tomorrow versus you going there to see that information that this brother has been in the lab so arduously working on for the past few months, because he went missing. For everybody, people that was looking for Hakim, it was hard to find him. You know what I'm saying? I got the phone call, like Mr. Anderson, like Neo had got the phone call in the Matrix, when he resurfaced. He told me that he was in Zion for a minute cooking up. So he's here. He's back. you know what I mean, and all of his glory with, just with some mind-blowing information. So I don't want to take up any more time. I want to actually go to the phone lines and open up this brother's line. Let me
preface it very quickly and give him a 44-second introduction. All right?
There you go.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
With no further ado, caller from 646-245. Peace.
Peace. Mars, wow. I couldn't do better myself. Y'all do the right thing on. That is peace, Mars. That is peace. Wow. It feels good to be back. Peace to all my brothers and sisters. It's good to be back here speaking with the family.
No doubt.
And it's been a journey. It's been another vision quest. When y'all don't see me for a couple moon cycles, a couple months, that means I'm either on a vision quest or in the laboratory, which is really one and the same, It's just, being that one with the divine and receiving those revelations. So I'm looking forward to let it loose. Let it loose.
Indeed. Well,
you want me to just go ahead and just go right into it? All right. I'm going to go right in. Peace,
get the
everyone.
Unplugging going, no doubt.
All right. Well, wow. Where to begin? First, let me say, I've been in the laboratory. I've been on another vision quest, for the last 3 months, the last 3 moon cycles. And what I uncovered or discovered was an exact and was blessed with an exact system, an exact way to change reality. And before I get deep into that, and as a matter of fact, tonight is going to be the first time that I'm going to be announcing to the public the new book that I wrote, which will be a free, as well as a new website that I developed. And the book will be available for free at the website, which I'm going to give in a minute. And so tonight is going to be the first time I'm actually announcing this to the public, and I'm glad to be announcing it right here on this particular show. I got a lot of deep information to uncover. A lot of great and beautiful things was revealed to me during this 3-month period. And so, and also let me mention, too, that regarding the website, which, it'll become evident in a minute, what's going to be done on this website this Thursday, I'm going to be inviting everybody to this Thursday, is actually what we're doing on this website. This is going to be the only website out of the millions upon millions of websites on the Internet. This is the only website that's going to be doing what we're going to be doing this Thursday. And I want everybody to experience it. And you could actually even do a search. I actually did a search. I'm going to give you the keywords to do a search under, and you'll see that there's no other website on the whole Internet that's doing what we're about to be doing. So let me just jump back for a minute. Let me back up for a minute and discuss how I actually got into this project and actually doing this particular project.
Yeah.
Some years ago, I began really studying different types of code, computer code, PHP, and different types of programming languages and code, and so on and so forth. And I remember, intensively, working on a particular project, and again going into the laboratory at that time and working on this project for like a couple of moon cycles, like a couple of months. And I was working intensively with code. And when I go into the laboratory, it's like during that period of time, I'm very focused. It's like I call it the laboratory because almost like shut myself off from the world, and it is just me in the divine, the creator, and I'm very focused, and it's like I almost rarely sleep. I be so focused in what I'm doing at the time that I be going into the next day, 8, 10, 12, 2 o'clock the next day without even sleeping, and I literally have to force myself to go to sleep. And then once I'm laying down resting, I have to literally force myself to stay down because I'd be ready to pop right back up and get right back into it. And so at that time while working with Code, I would go on breaks at the time. I would go for breaks, and at that time I was in Yonkers, not too far, literally in my backyard. And it was a park. It was a big park back there, and it was the museum. The Hudson River Museum was back there with a planetarium and everything. So I would go back there, and I would go for walks, and I would walk along the river, Hudson River, so on and so forth. And from working so intensively with Code, I began to look at a tree, and I would actually see the source code of the tree. I would look at a squirrel, and I would see the squirrel's source code. Literally, I would see code. I was seeing code everywhere. And so it made me start to think. I said, wow. I said, is this really a virtual reality, really a program, and everything that exists in this universe has a source code? And doing further analysis, I found out, yes. As a matter of fact, the source code in humans is known as DNA. That's source code. So I began to study deeper into it, and I was always fascinated by the human potential, the potential of human beings, of our minds, and what we're able to do. And even so much so that this was maybe 20 years ago, I became a certified hypnotherapist. I began to study hypnotherapy because it just, the whole concept just fascinated me. And let me just fast forward a little bit. So, I've been studying these things for a while, but never had a chance, and you know how you get different bits and pieces of information, but, you got to really put it together for it to really click. And so I've been, studying different things, putting different things together, and then, matter of fact, it was last summer that the divine inspired me with something, but it was something so far-fetched that I said, it was almost seemingly impossible. Yet I accepted it, and I said, all right, let me do certain things to bring this thing into reality. So I began on a new moon of a particular moon cycle, and I began doing certain things to manifest this thing, even though how far-fetched it seemed. I said, let me roll with it and draw it out to its ultimate conclusion and see where it goes. And so I did what I did over that moon cycle, and then I kind of put it on the back burner because it was so far-fetched. I just said, all right, I done took it as far as I could go at this level, and I put it on the back burner. Lo and behold, a month or 2 months later, this thing started to manifest. It started to become actual reality, and it shook me. I stepped back. I was like, wow, this is for real. And so that showed me right there that this thing is for real and that reality could literally be programmed. All right, so now let me bring it fast forward up to here. So I began working on certain things and began to study different modalities, different methodologies that could be utilized to actually program reality. And what I actually began to put together was a programming language. I studied different sciences, different things called magic, sigils, this, that. And what I actually began to develop was an actual programming language for program reality. So my first thing, I said, let me put through a test because I needed more time to really develop it. Now, this is going back into March and coming into April, right around the time of that new moon. And I said, man, I need more time. I told the divine, I said, I need at least 90 days. I need 3 months. I need 3 moon cycles to just focus in with no distractions, all bills, rent, everything all paid, so I could just focus because I hate when I'm trying to do something and I'm distracted, this, that, and you can't focus, and this is the problem most of us suffer in this day and time because there's so many distractions, we never have time to really put it together. We got different pieces of the puzzle, but we don't have time to really put it together. So it's like, you know, you go to the store, you buy a puzzle, and it comes in a box, and there's 500 pieces, but they all jumbled up in the box. So you got the box now, but it takes time to actually put the pieces together, and the less distractions, the better. So I said, you know what, let me start putting this thing to work. So I put it out there. I said, I need 90 days. I need enough money to cover me for 90 days, and so I don't have to worry about anything. I could just zone out, you know, go into the laboratory and go in.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, a week, 2 weeks later, it manifested. Something manifested that allowed me to actually accumulate $10,000 between April 1st and July. It manifested. Physical $10,000 manifested. I said, all right, boom. Now I'm going to keep my hand in the bar. This is real. This is some real stuff here. And, I mean, this is real. And I feel blessed to, you know, be able to have been able to go through this chamber, you know, and study these things. So I said, I'm going to keep my side of the bar. So the new moon came around in July. I said, boom, I went in. And let me say this. Yeah, actually, the universe. I began developing a series of correspondences between the computer and us. And let me just go over some of the correspondences here that I began to realize. And the system that I put together, I first began to realize that, yes, this actually within ourselves, we have two computers within ourselves. We have a binary computer that which functions on the level of binary, which is associated with the left hemisphere of the brain, which is also associated with the conscious mind. And we have a quantum computer that's dealing with the subconscious mind, that's dealing with the right hemisphere of the brain. And in this society, the left brain is dominant and actually suppresses the right brain or the subconscious mind. In other words, the right brain has, the quantum computer aspect has incredible abilities. And what I found out, and another thing that made me realize this in terms of the virtual reality aspect of this reality or matrix, because see, this what we call reality is really a consensus reality. It's a mutually agreed upon reality. Mm-hmm. And in that reality, for instance, we agree that, it's agreed in this consensus reality that, all right, my hand is not supposed to pass through this wall. That's one of the things that's just agreed. The wall is solid, my hand is solid, and it's not supposed to pass through. These are just some things that are just mutually agreed upon.
Yeah.
And so, and probing deeper into it, what I found out, the DNA, the code, our source code, the DNA, only 3 to 7% of that DNA actually goes towards producing our phenotype, black hair, brown eyes, so on and so forth. The other 93, 97% is referred to by science as junk DNA, quote unquote junk DNA, and they say it's just gibberish. It's just gibberish code, just all over the place. It has no purpose.
Yeah.
Come to find out that which they call junk DNA is actually a database. It's actually a database, and in studying further, and literally, it's source code. And what I'm saying with regards to the universe and how it functions in terms of on a level of a quantum computer, and all the physical things that you see in the universe is just hardware. And so if all the physical matter, physical objects in the universe is hardware, then what's the software? Because every computer has to have, what's the operating system? Because every computer got to have some form of operating system, because it's the operating system that runs the source code, that runs the program. So what's the underlying source code? All right, now let's look at it from another angle. In quantum physics, they have this thing where you could have a particle over here and what they call a quantum entanglement, and another particle, it could be 1,000 light years away. And this particle will turn this way, and the other particle right in communication with it would turn exactly with it. And that breaks all their laws of physics, because according to their laws of physics, there's nothing that's supposed to be able to travel faster than the speed of light. Yet here's these particles communicating off of vast distances immediately in real time. And so they said there must be some underlying order that we're not aware of, something underlying what we call reality that's allowing these things to communicate in real time. It's underlying it, but we don't know what it is. And so that's what made me begin to realize that there must be some type of operating system here. Now, what I'm saying now is this, and this is, big-time scientists, MIT, and those ones, I'm talking about the ones who are thinking outside the box, are saying exactly what I'm saying, but they are skirting around certain things that they're either not aware of or they don't want to come out rightly and say. So they're just kind of talking around it, all right? But what I come to find out is that the operating system for the whole universe, for all of creation, is actually what we refer to as the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, it really should be called the deeper mind, because there's aspects of it that's not subconscious, but the subconscious mind is the key. And what I found out is that there's only one subconscious mind. There's only one operating system. For instance, like you don't have your own separate individual personal subconscious mind, and I have my own separate individual subconscious mind. It's all one. There's only one subconscious mind, and we merely log into or tap into it the same way we would log into the internet. You see what I'm saying? In other words, you sitting at your computer, you don't have your own personal internet. You are merely logging into the internet. And so each one of us, our bodies, and what I found out, and this also made me understand why we dream. The average modern scientist or whatever, they'll tell you we still don't. We understand some of the mechanisms, but we still don't understand why we dream. And this next revelation made me understand why we dream. Just like the movie Avatar, where you see he got into a machine, and then as a result of the machine, he was inserted into this avatar, this body. That's what we are. That's what our bodies are. Our bodies are really avatars, and our consciousness is inserted into it. That's the reason why we only could spend, at maximum, maybe 72 hours in this avatar. This avatar is like a computer. It's like computer hardware. Your eyes are like scanners. Your ears are like audio input. Everything has this analogy. As a matter of fact, I'll read some of the analogies between the human, the human being and nature and the computer. For instance, the universe itself in creation is a vast computer, equals the vast computer. Matter, organisms, physical objects, that equals hardware. The operating system, that's a subconscious mind. The graphic user interface, or Windows, that's the matrix. And that's the conscious mind, that's consensus reality. In other words, when you get on the computer and, you're doing different things, whatever you're doing or whatever, you're not really communicating directly to the code, to the with the operating system. There's an in-between known as Windows that makes everything look all pretty. You're not working directly with code, but you're working with Windows. That's what they call a GUI, or graphic user interface. Well, that's what the matrix is. The matrix is a graphic user interface. Remember in the movie Matrix, he said that it's an interactive, it's a neural interactive program. Yeah. So you are not interacting directly with the operating system subconscious mind. You're interacting with the interface called, in this case, called Windows. Yes.
So what that means is when Neo stripped the Windows, that's when everything became cold. That's when he saw in green and the numbers were falling down because he began to see in source code, correct?
Right. Remember Cypher was sitting in the computer and Neo walked up to him and asked him, you understand that? He said, actually, when you understand the code, you see better.
You see better.
You looking at you see what I'm saying? And I found that out too, because you go to websites on the internet, that's the front end. But I work on the back end with the code, And I prefer
with the
working with the
code.
code.
Exactly.
Because I can do more, and I can see more of what's really going on with the code.
With the code. Thank
you. You know, so all right, so then you got the 5 senses. These are the various input-output, the I/O, or the input-output devices of a computer. The DNA, that's the source code. The immune system, that's the equivalent to antivirus and firewall. Phenotype, that's your display. Body or health management, that's the control panel. Psychological and mental loops, these are programs. What I found out is that in that database of the DNA, we not only inherit our phenotype, but through that database, literally, we inherit reality. We inherit consensus reality. In other words, the consensus reality that was generated by our ancestors. Everything you see in your life and everything you experience in your consensus reality is stored in the DNA. The DNA is a massive storage device that's able to pass consensus reality down through eons of human time. And so you actually inherit consensus reality from your parents as well as your phenotype. And that consensus reality is your base default reality. You could change it, but that's a whole other thing. That's what we're going to get into later. But as a default, if you don't change it, then that's what it is. That's the default reality. So just like buying a new computer, when a child is born, a child comes with certain programs pre-installed, bundles already installed as a result of the DNA. Just like when you go to a store, you buy a computer, it already comes with the operating system pre-installed and maybe some other programs pre-installed, you know, Microsoft Office Suite or something, whatever the case may be, pre-installed. So when a child comes out the womb now, he's coming out with a default consensus reality already pre-installed, the operating pre-installed, which is the subconscious mind, as well as certain programs. And then from that period up to the age of 6 or around between 6 and 8, the parents and those who are close in the family begin installing programs. And they begin installing programs that will literally affect you for the rest of your life. This is why you got adults out here now who going through different things, suffer from different things, and don't know why. These are from programs that their parents installed in them. When the child is born, the child's not fully in a conscious state until around age 6. Up until the age 6, the child primarily operates in the delta and theta brainwave areas, which is a hypersuggestive state, which means the child is just like a sponge, absorbing programs being installed by the parents, little things. Every little reaction of the parent is a program installed in that child. You know, the parent says, looks at one child and says, that child got good hair, and that one had bad hair, or things along. That's a program, and these programs affect people to the end of their life unless they change or modify. Then they end up going to school, and then other programs are installed in them. And so basically, the average person through their life, they just operating on pre-installed programs and programs that was installed in them. But very few are operating based on programs that they themselves have self-installed. All right? So now, So now you're going through life and you run these programs, and so as part of the system I developed, the average person don't even know half of the programs that's running on them. Just like if you look at your computer, and 9 out of 10 people on the computer, they may look and say, all right, I got 8 programs running. But that's not even half of it. They don't even know half the programs that's running in the background of their computer unless they call up the task manager and press Control-Alt-Delete. Now, some of you listening may not know about the task manager. I remember the time when I revealed to my mother about the task manager. She said her computer's running slow. I said, do the task manager. That'll show you all the programs running in the background. So that's why, as part of the system to help brothers and sisters heal, I created a methodology and a meditation called the task manager, because this will help reveal to you the programs that you run in the background. Some of us will run programs, for instance, that's making us feel tired. So, we feeling tired and lethargic, and we don't know why. But if they understood, they'll probably find, if they ran a task manager, they will find that they're running programs that are slowing them down. Just like with your computer. Your computer may be acting slow and erratic, and you don't know why. You hold down Control-Alt-Delete, and you will see the programs running there, and to find which one is drawing the most memory, you sort it according to memory usage. You press the button at the top that says memory usage, and it'll sort all the programs out according to memory usage, and you'll be like, wow, I didn't know all this stuff was running in the background of my computer. Just like the average human being don't realize half the programs that they are running in the background. You see? So continuing on, these psychological and mental loops are called programs, and they manifest themselves in you as voices. Like when during that 3 months, I began to run my task manager, and the task manager is just a way of being aware of these programs, and I began catching all kinds of stuff that was running in the background. A lot of times we run the programs that stop us from our wealth and our abundance, and we don't even realize it. We run the poverty programs in the background, don't even realize it. I inherited a poverty program. A poverty program was installed into me by my mother, and she didn't even realize it. When I was young and she was going through hard times and we was going through rough times or whatever, she would say things like, you know, maybe it's just my lot in life to be poor. It's just meant for me to be poor. It's just my lot in life. And that became installed in me. So when situations came up that would, you know, bring abundance and wealth, that program would pop up and start running like a loop in the background, stopping whatever wealth and whatever was supposed to be coming to me. I'm just giving you one example. I've heard people say that, you know, I'm cursed. My whole family's been cursed or whatever. You know, these are programs that we run. And just like Morpheus told Neo when they in that fight scene, he said, you think that's air that you breathe in? He said, the matrix is based on certain rules or things or whatever, some of which can be bent, some of which can be broken. These are programs. This is a consensus reality that we inherited. And see what the conscious mind do. The conscious mind is more masculine. That's the left brain. And the subconscious mind is more feminine. And the conscious mind acts just like an egotistical male. You know, it always wants to be in charge. And it won't allow anything to come into a cipher that it don't have control over. So what the conscious mind does is it draws a perimeter. It creates a fenced-in perimeter. Imagine the subconscious mind as a vast field, a vast green field that just, in terms of its area, just stretched for acres and thousands of acres. The conscious mind is like a small fenced-in perimeter of that whole field. It just fences in a small perimeter and says, everything that's in this perimeter is what I call reality. Everything within that perimeter is what's called the matrix. That's the consensus reality. Anything that tries to come in from outside this perimeter into this perimeter, it got to get past me first. And I may not allow it. If I can't control it, I'm not letting it in. I'm going to filter it out. And that's what our conscious mind does. There's so much going on around us that the conscious mind has to filter out because it's just overwhelmed. See, the conscious mind functions like a binary computer. And binary computers, even the most powerful ones, they function sequentially. They solve problems and equations sequentially, which means that if I had a page that had 100 different equations on it, the subconscious mind has to, just like a binary computer, will have to solve each equation linearly. In other words, in sequence, one at a time. It may do it fast, but it's still got to do it one at a time. Whereas a quantum computer just looks at the page and solves all of them immediately, simultaneously. And you know, you won't believe where I found this hidden powers. See, we have certain powers. That's why initially I was going to call the website Hack the Matrix. But when I called it that, see, I had set up on the website something that allows me to see everybody who comes to the website, their IP address, what country they came from, everything, what pages they were surfing, everything. I see everything that's going on. And just because I had the word hack in it, all these kids from China, government agencies, everything was coming in. I said, oh, wait a minute. That's not the crowd I want. You know what I'm saying? Just because I had the word hack in it. But peep it. We have to literally hack ourselves the same way. I had give you an example. A lot of the phones that we buy here in the United States, they have certain abilities in them that's disabled. These same phones in China have these same phone, but they have these abilities enabled. Like with a previous phone I had called the Hero, everybody used to complain about the camera, 1.3 megapixel, whatever, was poor quality, all that stuff like that. I went on the internet, found a hack, got into the root system, and enabled something that was in it that was disabled, enabled that, configured it, and it was taking beautiful pictures. So in other words, because of the consensus reality that we are born into, certain things in us is actually disabled. Now, I'm going to give you another example. There's a thing called photographic reading, not speed reading, photographic reading, where literally you can read a book and you turn the pages like this, and you read it, and with 99% retention of what you read. Whereas a person reading the book the old-fashioned way, see, we're taught when we go to school, and I'm gonna show you how the way when we're taught to read, right? It literally disables the photographic reading of the subconscious mind of the quantum computer. I'm gonna show you how constantly in this civilization, in this society, the binary computer is constantly limiting the quantum computer that's within us. So now when we go to school, right, we start school, we're taught to read. We read, the cat ran down the block. Everybody in the whole class is saying it out loud. All the kids are saying it out loud. The cat ran down the block. They're verbalizing each word. The cat ran down. You could only say at max 300 words per minute. You can only verbalize maybe 300 words per minute. So if your reading is tied to you verbalizing, you limiting yourself. So in other words, when we're taught to read, just that very act now is shutting down the quantum computer, where you could just turn pages and look at the page in a certain way, and the scanner, which we call eyes, will input all information, and it's all retained by the subconscious mind, by the quantum computer. Another way that I found out about, remember Neo, when he first, was brought out the Matrix and became aware of what was going on, he was still limited. Then he began to learn, and then he started going to the Matrix. He's flying around. He's breaking all the laws that we call consensus reality. He's doing superhuman stuff. Well, we have the same exact capabilities. We just have to re-enable it because it's been disabled by the consensus reality, and by the way we've been taught, it's been disabled. I'm going to give you another example, and this is I give thanks and praises for these people, and we don't give them credit, but where I found out some of the greatest capabilities, superhuman capabilities that we have, and what is called idiot savants. And I hate to call them idiot savants. I hate to use the word idiot because they have sacrificed their language abilities and their socialization in order to reveal to us our superhuman powers, and I give thanks for them. There's a brother by the name of, I studied these so-called idiot savants. During that period, I went deep in on them, and I studied them. I said, wait, they're showing us our superhuman powers. There's one, I have different case studies that I did. There's a brother named Stephen Wilshire from England. And he was born autistic. A lot of these so-called savants, they're born autistic. And he was born autistic. He didn't say his first words till like 7, 8, or 9 or something like that. And his first words was pen and paper. And they gave him a pen and paper. Do you know this brother, they flew him over New York City in a helicopter for 30 minutes. When it landed, he went to a room with like a 10, 12-foot long mural and actually drew the whole New York City from memory.
Yep, I heard about that.
Every single window, every single street. I got the videos and everything. Every single street, every single frieze in the building, every single motif from memory. They just flew him over for a half hour, and he drew the whole. As a matter of fact, next time you go to JFK Airport, look up. The mural's sitting right up in there of the whole. It's like 72 feet long.
Yep. Now,
wait a minute. How did a half hour? Yeah, he could, now they would have written him off saying he's retarded, this and that, or whatever case may be. Here he is, had this superhuman powers, but if you didn't take the time to work with him and allow him to express it, now you'll find that most autistic children, the left side of the brain is underdeveloped and the right side of the brain is extra developed. Again, get into this right brain, left brain, subconscious, conscious mind. Again, what happens is that as a result of the autism and the left side being not fully developed, it wasn't able to limit the right brain in the quantum computer. And that's why he was able to do this. Give you another example just to show you how one part of the brain, the binary computer, is limited in the quantum computer. There was another brother right from Brooklyn. And at 9 years old, he was hitting the left side of the head with a baseball, a hardball, and received severe damage to the left side of his brain in 1973. Do you know that if you pick any date from 1973 from now, if you would say March 10th, 1985, he would not only tell you the exact day immediately, right off the bat, just the exact day, he will tell you the weather of that day. This is the powers of this quantum computer. When I was reading the book Mind Control, and it was talking about some special forces and how they was trained and what they looked for, they had some of these ones that was actually had the ability where four of them got together each on a corner of an Abrams tank and was actually able to lift the Abrams tank. Do you understand that you have God-like abilities? The muscle fibers in your, just using your mind, you can reorganize the molecules and the muscle fibers in your muscles to take on it, where they become like steel, just by reorganizing the muscle fibers.
Can I add in real quick?
Yes.
That sorcery, for that matter, or quote unquote magic, is actually defined as manipulating molecules.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They drop that in the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That's right. Because it's not
right?
energy.
So it's
not
10
physical.
p.m. What I wanted to do very quick is take a very brief break, and this break is not going to be, it's not going to be
website
from what we're building on. I'm going to go into another excerpt from the Matrix, allow the people to process the information, and we're going to get right back into it, okay?
Can I just give them the website real quick before you go?
Absolutely.
Just because this is the first time I'm giving the actual website. And when you go to the website, the name of the book is Secret of Secrets. And when you go to the website, you can actually download the book for free. And you will actually become a member. You could become a member/student of the course I have there, and that's also free. The name of the URL for the website is secretofsecrets.info, not .com, .info. Secretofsecrets.info. And when you go there, just look around, download the book if you can, and on the book cover you're going to see a symbol, and that's what's known as a sigil. And I'm going to get more into that when we get back.
Because the main question that people are asking is, who is actually the programmer? Who's writing this program? So,
Good. All right, we're going to get into it.
Weirdly enough, I'm about to go right into this skit. You heard?
Hello, Neo.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others.
Others? How many? What others? Answer my question.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 ones before me. 3, 4. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 ones before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Can't control me! I'm gonna see what the fuck
Peace.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's what I want to speak about now. Matrix 4.0 and Matrix 5.0. And why do I refer to what we're living in right now and transitioning from really as Matrix 4.0, and the reason why 2012 marks the beginning of Matrix 5.0.
Right.
And the reason why I refer to it as that is because of the Olmec calendar, the Olmec Mayan calendar. Our ancestors, the Olmecs, were masters at time reckoning.
Hold on one second, Brother Hakim.
Yeah,
I think
right.
something is wrong with the link.
Oh,
for the site.
all right. Secretofsecrets.info. Secret of Secrets. Let me see the link that you put up there in the chat real quick to see if that one was right. I'll put it in there also, www.secretofsecrets.info. Try this link here, secretofsecrets.info. And I'll test it out myself right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
All right, so that should work there. All right, and now I just re-enabled. There was a post that I had up there called, let me tell you the name of the post. Oh, wow. What's going on? Is it coming up on your end? I tell you, I know I was already forewarned that I would receive opposition to this, because the things I'm about to say is going to be very powerful, and what's about to happen with this is going to be very powerful too. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Indeed.
Because right now I'm seeing it's telling me internal server error, and I don't know why it's saying that.
And to the most appropriate question at this particular point: who is programming the program?
All right. Well, let's get into it. And this is going to bring me back to what I started to speak about earlier, about why we dream. See, right. When we go to sleep, and the reason why, in other words, when we go to sleep and when we go into deep, we pass through certain stages. We go through from beta. When we awake, we in beta brainwave stage. And then as we go to sleep, we begin passing through, once we close our eyes, we begin passing through alpha. Then we go through beta, and then finally we go to what they refer to as delta deep sleep. Delta deep sleep. When you in delta deep sleep, at that point, your avatar, your body, your physical body is in suspend mode. The same way you put your computer into sleep, literally they call it sleeping computers, sleep or suspend mode. That's the mode that your avatar is placed in, while your consciousness returns back to the oneness with the architect, with the creator. So in other words, when you go into every night, when you go into deep delta sleep, you return to this place where it's this triple darkness, and darkness was on the face of the deep. That description in Genesis chapter 1, that pre-creation stage in Genesis, that's a description of where you return to every time you go to sleep. While your avatar's in suspend mode, you in this triple darkness, this oneness. And there's only one being there, and that's the creator, that's the architect, and so you are the God. And what happens is that when you start to awaken, as you begin to re-enter into your avatar, you pass through these stages again, and then you pass through the stage known as the dream stage, or REM, rapid eye movements. That is the process of you reintegrating back into your avatar. That's why you start seeing all these different things, people, places, things that you seen during the day while you was in consensus reality. You start to see it as you passing through, as well as you confronted with all the different unresolved conflicts and things that you have in this consensus reality. So it's like going to work on Monday morning and all your work is just piled up on your desk waiting for you. That's what happens when you're dreaming. All these different unresolved conflicts and things from the consensus reality hits you, and it masks itself in the faces and places and things that you've seen while in consensus reality, and you reintegrating back into your body. Then usually just prior to you reintegrating, something dramatic or traumatic will happen in a dream. Very emotional, and that's why when you and you'll wake up, and that means you fully integrated back into your avatar. And this is why it's also bad to wake children up or a person up suddenly like, wake up, because they didn't have a chance to properly reintegrate back into their avatar, and their whole day will be off that whole day because they never fully into the avatar properly, and everything's off. So the whole purpose of dreaming, the reason for dreaming, is in order for you to your consciousness to reintegrate and reacclimate and reassociate itself with this avatar that you navigate and that you operating in this world. And that's the whole purpose. So you are the architect. When he went to the machine world, when he went to visit the he's returning back within to his true self. In other words, but you gotta pass through these different dream stages. You see what I'm saying? I mean, more is really deep, but we have all the answers right here. 2012 marks the change in the operating system. Remember the avatar said that there's been many matrices in the past? Well, just like our answer to old calculated, they said that we in the fourth world, and that 2012 will mark our interest into the fifth world. That's why I refer to this world as Matrix 4.0, and the one that's going to be coming in 2012 as 5.0, and it represents a change in the operating system. Which means there's going to be a significant change, just like you got Windows XP, Windows 7. So that's what's happening now.
Tiger, Lion, with the Mac. So that's similar to what Delbert is saying, that we are jumping from the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, correct?
Correct. What's happening
and
is
also,
that...
I also want to say the saying that we are spiritual beings having a human existence.
There you
and
go.
It's like you're saying with the whole Avatar thing, especially when the movie came out, it shows you that your higher self is on a higher plane, and that this body that we inhabit is the spirit going into this human body, this space vessel, this space suit, this avatar to have this human experience. So in reality, we are all the same because we all go to sleep. We all go back to the one. So there's nobody that's beyond this. So everybody, so there's no such thing as the God complex because we all are the same. We all one.
We're one. Even while we exist right now in this consensus reality, and we're talking right now in this consensus reality, our subconscious minds is one. There's only one subconscious mind. So right now, even now, I'm not even talking about going back to the going to sleep. I'm saying right now, while we're awake, right now, we are one on a deep level. So literally, if you was to go deep into your subconscious mind, to your deep mind, and I was go deep within my subconscious mind, my deep mind will meet up in the same room. Right now. And this is going to be the key to, and this is the part that I'm going to do on the website, which is going to be the first time this has ever been done on the internet. The divine told me to create a mastermind. And I don't just mean a mastermind group where people come together and talking together and supporting each other. That's good. But I'm talking about an actual, tangible mastermind. How do we, right now, what I'm saying right now, there's many people listening right now that's on the same page. There's many brothers and sisters right now listening to what I'm listening to the show right now who for some reason just can't get into this 9-to-5 world. Just working the 9 to 5, this money where this world's all mature. They just can't seem to fit, but they forced to have to because they got to pay rent, they got to pay bills, they got children, whatever. But deep down inside, they know that this is not their world. They just can't really fit in. It's like that scene in the Matrix where the alarm clock woke Neo up and he was late. It's like, oh man, he's running, going to work, and boss is talking to him and everything, and he's looking off to the side, like his mind is somewhere else, even though he's like, oh yeah, that's many of us who just really can't fit in. And when we do force ourselves to fit in, we feel like we're fooling ourselves. We feel like we're playing a game that we really don't want to play, but we forced to play because of this consensus reality in order to maintain ourselves. Well, Matrix 5.0 is going to be different. This Matrix 4.0 is based on the motive of the handful, true sovereigns having the truth and the masses of people being subjects. Whereas in Matrix 5.0, everyone's going to be sovereign. There's not going to be no more subjects. What makes the difference between a sovereign and a subject? Having the construct. Remember in the Matrix, it talked about the construct. He said, this is our loading program. Remember when he was in that white room with Neo? He said, this is the construct.
The guns out and everything.
Yeah, the construct, the loading program. That's what the divine actually allowed me to put together, was a construct, was a programming language. If you have an operating system, then you got to have a programming language. And so, what is the programming language? That's what made me begin to study all different forms of magic, so on and so forth. And what I found out was that the construct for this Matrix 4.0, going back into the time of Egypt, ancient Egypt, was controlled by a certain priesthood, where the priesthood maintained the construct and kept that construct secret from the masses because they felt that the masses, the construct allows you to change reality. It allows you to manifest whatever you want in reality. And so the priesthood, going back into ancient Egypt, felt that if that construct was in the hands of the average people, that they would misuse it, that they would use it for low and vulgar things. And so they felt that we have to be the shepherds of the people. And that's where you get the shepherd's crook in Egypt. You see them with the shepherd's crook. Now, if a certain small group was the shepherds, then what does that make the masses? Sheep. Or like they say, sheeple. All right? Now, the shepherds who had the construct was partially correct. In other words, it wasn't time yet for the masses to have the construct. The construct that the divine gave to me is actually the construct that's really for Matrix 5.0, but it's active now. And just like you have a new Windows program that has new commands and different things in it, but yet that Windows is retroactively effective, which means it can still handle, in a legacy mode, it can still handle programs from the previous versions of Windows, but there's certain programs that's made for that Matrix 5.0, which Matrix 4.0 can't control no more. And so that's where we at now right now. The so-called Illuminati or illuminated ones who have the construct. And what is the construct? You'll find it, sometimes they call it gematria. You look at the Masonic trestle board. This is a construct. This is a loading program. This is how you load things into reality. This is how you change reality. And so the construct that was revealed to me consists of 8 modalities. 4 pairs is what they call in ancient Egypt an octode. 4 masculine gods, 4 feminine gods. Excuse me. The construct that I put together consists of 4 masculine modalities and 4 feminine modalities. And so
4. Hold on.
4.
Let that marinate.
Let me take a quick sip of water.
Yeah, you might need some agua.
Yeah, Moors, because this is, I'm unleashing it now.
They pressing a space bar on you.
More, this is for real. I tell you, this is so deep, more. But see, the construct that I put together, the first stage of the construct, what I did was actually put together a programming language with its own alphabet. The name of it is called Occulia, OCCOULIA, 8 letters, and the alphabet consists of 8 letters or 8 characters, and the 8 characters form the name of it. So if the name within itself is a fractal within itself. because it is what it say it is. I don't know another way to say it. The 8 characters that form it, and the 8 characters could actually be formed using the human hand. The 8 characters, one, just to give an example, and you'll see when you go to the website, one character is just a circle. Another character is a semicircle. Another character is a square. Another character is a 45-degree angle. Another character is a 90-degree angle. Another character is a right triangle, and so on and so forth. Another character is just a perpendicular bar, and so on and so forth. These 8 characters are used to put together a sigil. I don't know how many of you are familiar with sigils, but you could look it up. A sigil, what you do, and the ancient magicians used to use what they call sigils. And this is a way to program the subconscious, because the subconscious deals with symbols and sigils, not the literal sense of the word, but the underlying meaning. So you could create a sigil right now. I'm going to tell you how you create a sigil. And you could use that sigil to begin to actually change reality. The way you create a sigil, and I have a whole methodology how you do it, but the way you actually create a sigil is that you write out what is it that you want. Whatever it is that you want, whatever objective you want to achieve, whatever it is that you want, you either write it out as if it already happened, that you already have that thing, or you write it out that it's a process. In other words, you're in the process of receiving it in real time. And you write it out, and I have it, just like you do with a program, like a programming language. It has a beginning to start the statement, and then I have a symbol that closes the statement. And so you write out the statement, and you can write out the statement, and then the next step you do is that you eliminate all of the vowels, and once you eliminate all the vowels, you eliminate all of the duplicate consonants that's remaining. And with the remaining consonants that's left, you now form them into a symbol or a sigil. That sigil now is a program. That's an actual program. Whatever was the statement that you desired or that you wanted, you write that statement out, and then you do the steps I just mentioned, and then that forms, and you'll see this out the book. I give an example of the creation of a sigil, and you'll see the actual symbol in there. And you form it into a symbol. Now that symbol, that sigil, becomes the actual program. And then what the magicians would do after that is that they would activate the sigil in some way. And it was different ways they activated. One of the ways that they would activate it is that they would focus on it at the point of orgasm. They will focus in and visualize the sigil, and that will actually activate it, energize it, and empower it. And from that point on now, it's doing its work. See, the beautiful thing about the subconscious mind, think about this for a minute. If the subconscious mind is the operating system of the whole universe and everything in it, that means the source code for everything, all the genetic code, all the source code for everything, from even a rock, that source code is being run by this same operating system. There's only one operating system, the subconscious mind, and it's running all the source code for everything. So when the subconscious mind hears and obeys when it's commanded correctly in a certain way. And this is what you learn in hypnotism. You learn that the conscious mind is like a security guard sitting there in front of the subconscious mind saying, you got to get past me first. And so this is why you see sometimes they waving a clock or they're doing other things to distract the conscious mind so it could get around the security guard, the conscious mind, and plant suggestions into the subconscious mind. You got to program the subconscious mind to change reality. See, us in everyday real life, the conscious mind maybe controls maybe 5% of what goes on in this world. The other 95% is controlled by the subconscious mind. Just like your autonomic nervous system, you don't tell yourself breathe in, breathe out, breathe. All that's controlled by the subconscious mind. You don't tell your heart beat, beat. All that's controlled by that. It controls everything. The reason why we fail in a lot of things, for instance, the conscious mind can sit there and it can read a book about health and diet and be like, oh, man, yeah, I'm feeling it. That's it. Yeah, I'm changing my diet. I'm changing my diet right now. I'm changing my diet. That's cool. But I bet you a week later, you'll be right back eating the same thing if you did not convince your subconscious mind of that. I don't care how much books, I don't care how much the conscious mind is like, I'm changing my diet. If you don't convince your subconscious mind of that fact, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The subconscious mind is programmed through repetition. It's programmed through symbols. As a matter of fact, like I mentioned, I have 8 different modalities. Once you create that sigil, once you create your program, now you run it through these other 7 aspects of the programming language, and that consists of. Let me just read to you what of this whole system. The whole system is called Akulia. 8 letters, 8 characters, 8 letters in the name, 8 modalities, all based on the 8. And then there's more about the 8, which I can get into later, but the 8 is key. Again, 4 masculine and 4 feminine modalities. So now the other modalities, once you do that now you run it through these other modalities. You run it through what's known as visualization. And see what I'm using, what I'm gonna be doing with this website that's different than the other. The key is the alpha brain state. That's the programming state that you use to program reality, is that alpha brainwave state. So what the divine said to me, in order to create a true mastermind, what I'm gonna be doing is broadcasting a specific type of alpha brainwave stream, and I combine it with nature sounds, ambient music, which I create myself, all combined with an isochronic alpha brainwave frequency. And so now, by streaming it live, and I'm listening to it here, another person might be on the other side of the world, this person there, but if we listening to it at the exact same frequency at the exact same time, guess what? We all begin to vibrate in resonance. When we all begin vibrating in resonance with that alpha frequency, we are literally on the same page, and we begin to create an actual mastermind that actually has a physical existence. Like we say, as above, so below. Everything physical on this planet has its representation on a macrocosmic scale in the form of plasma. Plasma is what they call the fourth state of energy. It's really the first state. The plasma was the Elohim that formed everything else, was the plasma. Then came various types of gas, liquid, and solids. So when you get a group of minds together, vibrating on the same frequency, on a macrocosmic scale, it's actually going to form a plasmic field. And that plasmic field will exist. And the more you have participate in that live stream in real time, the more powerful it will become. And when we begin to issue commands to the subconscious mind, soon we'll get to the point where we will be able to say, be, and so shall it be. That's how powerful it will get. And so right now, yes.
Right. I just want to say that that's the concept of the 1111 meditation that we reinforce on Know the Ledge. You know what I'm saying? You put it in operational language, which is wonderful, and I thank you. I also want to say that as I was preparing for the show tonight, the Spirit told me very clearly that you would be uncovering some information, building and dealing with this whole 4-4 concept that I've been touching on, the law of 44. So for you to put it in an operational language, a programming language, for us to actually run our systems off, like, full honest to you. You know what I mean? I already know that this is a synchronized relationship, like you said. It's coming from the same mind.
It is.
It's coming from the same mind. You know what I'm saying? So please.
It is one. It is one. And that's all.
And it's also, I'm sorry, you were also manifesting what I've always been saying about the importance of speaking that real language, the language of the programming language. You actually, and I'm picking up pieces of the Kabbalah as well that the brother A.A. Rashid, who introduced me to the concept of sigil, when he was incarcerated, and he brought forth that and showed us how to do it. And then I also realized in the movie Matrix, when that's what I was looking at when he started to look at the source code, when the code began to break down. Remember, it looked like Chinese script, like
yes.
Remember, the source code looked like Chinese, but it was actually sigils. Those were, like you said, the words put together in a sigil form, breaking down and whatnot. And it's similar to the tree of life on how how you utilize, because Kabbalah means to receive. So it's actually bringing it down from the higher planes into this, this Malkut. But please continue.
Yes, that's it, And so it's all one mind. That's why there's so many of us on the same page. That's why the divine said, just put it into words. What everybody's feeling right now, just put it into words. And people, those are going to naturally gravitate. The divine, I wrote the book under the pen name of Morpheus. And I'm looking for, I was told that with just 1,000 neotypes, not neophytes, neotypes, we could change the whole world, the whole planet. It don't take no whole bunch. All you need is 1,000 neotypes. When I say neotypes, I mean those who feel like they don't belong in this world, and those who have a desire to change the world, to save the world. I'm talking about the savior types. Those are the ones I'm looking for. Those are the ones who I want to join this community. And what we're going to do is form this mastermind through these daily meditations. Daily we're going to do this, and we're going to begin to literally change reality. And like I said, this thing is for real. I program stuff where it manifests the next day. Now, it takes a lot to overcome this consensus reality, because we're talking about billions of people who maintain this consensus reality, just like the dollar bill. There's nothing backing it up. It's just a mutually agreed upon consensus that I recognize as being worth $1 if you recognize it being $1, and that's the only thing holding up. Well, that's the only thing holding up is consensus reality, is that everybody's agreed upon it, and they don't know nothing else. You see what I'm saying?
That's why.
Yeah.
I don't mean to shut you down.
No,
that's why we're seeing the actual breaking down of the program as consciousness and as awareness begins to spread and begins to change the subconscious of the multitudes and whatnot. This is why, in the movie, hold on. Like in the movie Inception, where they had the scene where the brother was by the beach and the buildings were actually collapsing. They were breaking down and folding upon each other just based off of thought consensus. So the concept of 2012, apocalypse, the world is going to end, things are going to begin. So when people went to see the movie that began to push that program, what began to accelerate? Natural catastrophes. What began to happen? Things began to fall apart. Because people brought into the program. It's programming. It's the same thing that the Inception said. You plant the idea into the subconscious, and that's when things begin to take forth. And this reality right here is basically an illusion.
That's
3D.
why the timelines are going to split. The timelines are actually going to split, and all those in 2012 who still caught up in the consensus reality, they're going to pass through all them different destructions and so on and so forth, where those who began to create a new reality, remember, the ancient Dogon said that when the no more return, they're going to create a new earth, and it's going to begin as a patch, like a patch of land, like a little square patch of land on this earth, and then proceed to grow.
Yes.
And that's what it's going to be like. 2012, there's a lot of things that's planned to happen, and what's happening right now, the construct that the Illuminati or the illuminated ones have and that they've been operating off of on this old operating system, the operating system is being changed as we speak. And so their control over reality, over this matrix, over this concept of reality is also breaking down. They can't control it no more. That's why they're trying to run and flee into underground bases and all stuff like this, is because they have lost control. They have lost control, and the only ones who will have the ability to control this this 4.0 going into 5.0 will be us, the new ones, the new fruits, the first fruits.
On that note, can I go into another excerpt? It's going to be 2 minutes. I'm still having difficulty loading the Secret of Secrets, but somebody did find the book in Scrib.com. So the book is floating around. I see the sigil. It's a wonderful cover. Very, very powerful. Shout out to Morpheus. On that note, I want to go right into this excerpt, and we're going to come right back into it, and we'll decide whether we're going to go, because I can't even begin to tell you how many hands is up in the call queue.
Excellent, excellent. I'm looking forward to them questions, too. Yeah, all right, peace.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
That is it, more.
Break out of the Matrix.
This is real.
You the key master tonight. You understand?
Man. More, all thanks and praises. We are truly the gods of this. That's the secret of secrets. The secret that's been held back all this time is that we are the gods. We have the ability to change reality. And those that knew this, they just galvanized the masses' ability to change reality to strengthen what their program was. They will create a program and then get all the masses in sync by doing certain rituals to energize and activate their program. And so they were utilizing the masses. Everybody's born with the ability to change reality. I mean, it's literally so easy. Like you said, what is reality? Are you talking about the signals that's being interpreted by your eyes through the various input-output devices on your body? Because once that signal gets to the brain, it could be reinterpreted. So one time I hypnotized a sister, and beforehand she said, how do I know I'm really hypnotized? I said, all right, well, let's see. And when I hypnotized her, I said, you see my briefcase over there? It's filled with tons and tons of compressed steel. Go lift it up. Do you know she couldn't get it up off the ground? And then I said, now you see that briefcase, that same briefcase? It's filled with feathers. Go lift it. And she lifted it like it was nothing. I could have told her that there was a physical tiger in the room with us, and she would have seen a physical tiger and would have felt the heat of this breath on her arm. That's how powerful, that's how this reality is such an illusion. I'm going to give you another example of how the divine create avatars, and it's a very good visual example of this. I used to work with a software program called Bryce. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a 3D program used to create 3D virtual worlds. A lot of
I used to draw with that.
All right, man, I love Bryce. Why? Because
Mm-hmm.
it makes you think like a creator. What I used to do with Bryce, Bryce is a 3D world, so when you working in Bryce, you're working on a 3D playing field. You have length, width, and height. Or you have the x-axis, horizontal, you got y, the vertical axis, and you got z, the axis coming out at you. And so what I would do in Bryce, I would go into Bryce, and let's say I wanted to create a pyramid. I would go into Bryce, create a pyramid, right? And the pyramid shape initially would be solid. So what I would do is create a second pyramid and and make that pyramid negative, and use that second pyramid to hollow out that first solid pyramid. So now I have a pyramid that's really a shell, it's hollow inside. Then I would cut out a door using another square that I made negative, and that negative, when I combined it with the positive pyramid, it would hollow out and cut out a door. So now I had a pyramid with a door. So now I would use one of the cameras in Bryce as my avatar to navigate in this world I just created. And I would, using that camera, I would navigate and I would go through the door, and I'm inside this hollow pyramid, but it's dark inside because it's hollow, but it's dark. There's no light in there. So I would create a light, bring the light inside the pyramid, and now I can see. I can look around, I can turn, I can see the corners of the walls, everything. And from there now, I could add furniture, I could add lamps, I could add this, I could add floors, doors. And so here's an example of me creating a virtual world and then entering into that world via an avatar and creating from within it. So in reality, each one of us are avatars of the Creator within creation, creating. That's all it is. I'm going to say it again. Each one of us are avatars of the Creator in His own creation, creating. And so just from working in Bryce, I can't explain to you the feeling it would give me when I was doing that. And I understand it now. It was really a God consciousness because I was creating a world and then creating an avatar to go in that world. And that process could go on indefinitely, infinitely, because then within that world, I could create another virtual world and then enter into an avatar and go on. And where does it stop? It's infinite. And so these are the type of things we're going to be meditating on in order to tap into the meditations I put together, and it took me a while to perfect this science, but I got it down to a science. I know the exact frequencies for shamanic trance. I know the exact frequencies of human resonance for the earth, so I'm going to be producing MP3s that you can listen to resonate and vibe and in harmony with the earth at 7.3 hertz. There's other frequencies that deal with certain organs of the body. I'm going to be producing all these different things so that we could master our body. I created, like I said, a thing called the Task Manager. See, the first thing we need to do, a lot of our abundance and blessings are held back just by the negative programs that we're running that stop us. And so by running your Task Manager, what you do is that when you see these negative programs pop up, what you do is delete it. Boom, right there at the spot. I began to catch all kinds of programs that was running in me, and I started deleting them right there on the spot. And the minute I got rid of those programs, all kinds of things opened up. Forgetting writing new programs, just deleting the negative programs that are in you will open your life up to all kinds of stuff. Now once you deleted these negative programs that was put into you, now you could begin writing your own programs. And in the God state, the true sovereigns, they run programs that they themselves have written. Not even the pre-installed ones, because your DNA doesn't control you. Your DNA controls you in default of anything else controlling you. So in other words, the DNA in you, there was a guy named Bruce Lipton, cell biologist. He took the nucleus out the cells, and the cells continue functioning as they normally do, because they wasn't no longer controlled by the DNA. They was controlled by the subconscious mind. So you could write programs. You could literally change your phenotype. Soon we're going to be writing programs where you will be able to change your DNA in real time and change your phenotype in real time. Wow. Now just visualize for a minute. Now visualize this world. Visualize Matrix 5.0. visualize a world where whatever you wanted, you would be able to write a program and have it manifest in reality. At that point, there's no more thievery, there's no more wars. Why do I need to steal your food if I could just say be and so shall it be and create my own? In that world, it's going to be on a whole different type of level. There's not going to be no more need for money. You see what I'm saying? It's no more 9 to 5 and all these things. We're going to operate on a level of a divine trust. That's how divine sovereigns operate. The socioeconomic system of sovereigns, and that what was revealed to me in the previous vision quest that I went to that took me into the mountains of Utah and Moab and all that stuff. It was weird because the socioeconomic system was given to me first, and then the methodology to make the gods and divine sovereigns that will exist in that came later. We must function under what's known as a divine trust. A divine trust was how the whole universe was set up in the very beginning. On the website, thedivinetrust.com, I have a quote from the Quran of Mecca. And in that quote, it talks about the establishment of this trust dealing with creation. It says in the Quran of Mecca 33:72, and look at the numbers. Surah 33:72. That's science right there. It says, "Lo, we offered the trust unto the heavens and the earth and the mountains, but they shrank from bearing it and were afraid of it, and man assumed it." Right there at the beginning of creation, right there was the establishment of a trust. And we were made trustees as well as beneficiaries of that trust. Because according to trust law, you could be the trustee of a trust as well as the beneficiary of a trust, as long as you're not the sole trustee and sole beneficiary, because in that case you'll be holding the trust for yourself. And so this is a divine trust. All land ownership, all political borders, all that's going to be done away with. It's just going to be one trust res. The planet Earth and all the other worlds that we navigate to are all going to be part of a trust res. And trust me, very soon we're going to be navigating to and setting up on many planets and many worlds, because when I was on that vision quest, I had a vision, and in that vision, one of my descendants from the future came back in time and told me that if I don't do what I was instructed to do, she wouldn't exist. And so we got a job to do. Those ones hearing what I'm saying right now, who resonate with it, those are the ones who I want to become members. This membership site is not for everyone right now. This is for a select few neo-types who are going to be the ones who's going to change this reality. And nothing to stop it now at this point. I don't care what they try and do, blocking the website, this or that. At this point, nothing's going to stop it. And I'm going to begin broadcasting that signal this Thursday. I want everybody to go to the website this Thursday, those ones who are vibing with this. And once I begin that stream, it's going to be happening every day from that point on. There's no other website on the whole internet. If you type in live alpha brainwave meditation, you will see that there's not one website on the whole internet that is broadcasting a live, real-time alpha brainwave meditation stream daily. Initially, I'm going to start off doing it between the hours of 10 and 11, but ultimately, I'm going to broadcast that stream 24/7 nonstop. So no matter where you at work, and you stressed out, you go on your lunch break, throw on your headphones, and I'm telling you, this alpha meditation streams, it relieves stress within minutes. There's times where different situations happen where that stress me out, and I threw in the headphone. Within 5-10 minutes into the meditation, stress was gone. It even had the ability to release stress in real time. While the stressful situation was happening, I put the stream on, and it was relieving the stress as it was coming to me. So this is for real. If you want to release, I'm a broadcast stream eventually 24/7, so that no matter where you at any point, you feel stress, you just throw this thing on. I'm also going to be doing guided meditations using what I call my Morpheus voice, because I realized early on that when I use my voice certain ways, it has a very powerful effect on people. When I used to vend books on 125th Street across from the Apollo Theater, there was many times people would come to the table and I would talk to them a certain way, and we would witness goosebumps breaking out right in front of our eyes in real time on them. People go, and then brothers and the other vendors around me say, Hakim, you better stop doing that, man. And people, the goosebumps, we would look at them, and they just rising up in front of our eyes, and they going, So now what I said, let me use that for the benefit of our people. So what I did was create a certain way to throw a certain type of reverb and echo on it so that it sounds real authoritative. And they say that when you're using these suggestions, it's best not to initially use your own voice, because people a lot of times they don't even really trust their own voice, or or if they have low self-esteem, they won't believe their own self. And so they say it's best to listen to a voice that sounds authoritative or that you see as an authority. Those suggestions or programs will go right in, and it will have its immediate effect. So we're going to be doing things where we're going to be healing people. I'm going to be setting up certain special meditations where, I learned this from my family. And my family, whenever a family member will get sick, we will all say, like on Thursday at 9 o'clock, we were all going to meditate and pray at that exact time. And I've seen members recover from cancer. And so I thought about that. I said, man, I know the power that's right within my own family. So I said, why don't I implement this amongst the brothers and sisters? And we're all in that same alpha brainwave state. At that point, if we was to all focus on, we could change the direction of hurricanes. We could do whatever at that point. If a member, I'm gonna be doing special meditations. If let's say a family member, a brother sister has a family member that's doing very bad or whatever, we all get into the alpha brainwave state and focus on that. Oh, and let me mention too, along with this. This is just a side note, but it's a major thing also. I have created on the website for the community our own virtual currency, social currency, like y'all spoke about. In this currency, for instance, members, like the stream that I'm going to be doing, for non-members it's $10, for members it's $5, and using the social currency, it could actually even be free, because members pay for to participate in the live stream using points. And on this website, you receive points. The points is our currency, and you receive points by just participating in the website, by just your social works and deeds. Eventually, I see an actual currency being formed where members of a community, whatever, receive points for their deeds and acts that are of benefit to the community. But for instance, like in this community, I want everybody to participate. So like for instance, every night when we do an alpha brainwave group meditation, I wanted all the members to give feedback on what they experienced, what they felt, or whatever the case may be. I even got a section where I want members to post their sigils, post their programs that they're running, so that other members could go on there and give them support. And so if you go there and you reply or you comment and you give support to another brother or sister sigil, like a mastermind, or you give support to them, you receive points for that. If you create a post or article, you go do some research and you put up a post with that information, you receive points for that. If you go invite somebody else to become a member that you feel that will really mix in with this, you receive points for that. And so I have a whole list of different ways that you could receive points just by participating. Every time you just go to the website, you receive points. And so just by participating in the community, you receive points, and with that points, you could actually purchase all the guided everything I put on that site. You could purchase using points, or you could just use the points as a discount. You could purchase a whole item purely with points, or if the item costs $5, because I'm keeping everything like $5. The MP3s I'm going to be producing, you put in your iPod, all that's going to be $5. And you can make points. You could use the points as a discount, and maybe knock off $3 and just get and just pay actually $2 for it, or you could just buy the whole thing using points. The more you participate, so that even a brother or sister who said, "I'm not working right now, I don't have no income," you could still participate fully in the community. You just earn points. You know, you get on the computer, you can leave comments, you can do posts, you can support brothers and sisters, and that's how we begin to actually put into practice with us the new economy that we're going to be creating in Matrix 5.0 amongst ourselves. We put into practice. We can't wait till the economy crash and say, all right, now let's try and put it together now. No, we got to hit the ground running. We got to start practicing it now amongst ourselves. So when that time comes, we're already used to this barter type of trade. I also have set up on the website an auction system. So let's say you need points. You could post anything from your house. I remember Blueprint mentioned he got a law library set that he want to post or whatever. You could post that and sell it for points, and then use those points to do other things. And then eventually I'm going to create a store for the community where you could sell stuff, and then you can redeem. You'll receive points, and you can redeem those points for money if you want as well. So that's coming down the line. But right now I have the auction system set up where if you don't have if you don't have money or whatever the case may be, you could earn points by just participating in the community, and you could sell things for points and earn points that way too. So that's another side aspect of the website. But I think I'm just loving that whole point system, because to me it's like an alternate currency, and it makes us begin to think a certain way where we begin to attach value to good works and good deeds.
Yes.
And to me, that's the most beautiful thing to base a currency on is good works and good deeds, not even precious metals. To me, the best thing to base a currency on is good works and good deeds.
Definitely raises the value.
So you know, it's so much more. I mean, the book that's up there now, I'm gonna post an updated version because I made a couple of changes in the book, but I didn't get a chance to upload it before the show. So, but you know, next week sometime or whatever, you know, those who are members, you could just upload the book and you could download the book anytime. So I'm gonna have new information I'm gonna post. I have a whole lot of more information I'm gonna post on the website as articles. So keep going to the website because I'm constantly gonna keep posting new articles to the website. All right, and yeah.
I want to say this: is tonight's meditation going to be part of, or is the meditation you're talking about? Can we kick it off tonight at 11:11?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good. Only thing is, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm not in a position to set up the actual stream of the thing right now for 11:11. But let's kick it off. Let's all, you know.
Can you email me the MP3?
Can I email you what?
The MP3 version. You have the MP3 of it.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do for the Blueprint. I'm gonna mail you an MP3 of one of the. I got two meditations up there right now. One is called Life Is, and the other one is called Peaceful. And those are two MP3s I have up there now. I'll email you the full version so you can listen to those. Just listen to it and just meditate to it, because I'm telling you, when we do it Thursday, you're gonna feel the effect. If we just have 10 people who are meditating with it, you're gonna feel it. This is
what time?
hands-on.
Thursday is this gonna pop off?
It's gonna pop off at 10 p.m. on Thursday from 10 to 11. Each one of them 36 minutes.
I definitely want you to synchronize with our sister Abundance Child. Shout out to Abundance Child. She's in the chat as well.
Definitely Abundance. I was trying to call her the other day, as a matter of fact. But yeah, we're gonna synchronize all this up. And Abundance got to tell me where to get that Om chant too. I love that Om chant on her website, and I would love to integrate in some of the MP3s. But yeah, we're gonna bring this all together more, because this is the time we gotta. Next year, survival is beyond just food and water. We're gonna have to literally change reality in 2012. That's what it boils down to.
Yes, yes, and
indeed.
Only like you're saying, but as a lot of people say that, you know, time and space don't exist, but this is the wonderful manifestation of time, right on time, because this weekend, you know, the brother Carl Kalaman came on the show on August 29th, and he spoke about the peace convergence that took place this weekend, where they were in silence meditating for 3 days with the Mayan elders about bringing forth a new reality, actually starting today on this super new moon when we insert the seeds of manifestation into the earth, you know. And then we dropped our tape on the 23rd, and you know, it was dealing with this whole theme of the red or the blue. And then I was looking at a documentary called The Quickening, which is about Kalaman's predictions dealing with the Mayan calendar count up to October 28th. And that whole documentary was about the twin poles, or the red and blue Kachina, the twin stars. You know what I'm saying? And all of that was all about creating a new reality. So, you know, the same spirit, that mind that you're talking about that is infused in all of us, my entire weekend was about this. My entire weekend was about dealing with spiritual elders who are introducing me to the inner meanings or the extra meanings of the law of 44 as it applies to me. They were explaining the intrinsic meanings of the number 8. And I had a big meeting on 125th on Sunday with Brother Rich, who was telling me verbatim what you're talking about. He was expressing it through a author that he got in contact with, I believe, called Brother Neville. And Brother Neville books are all about this, about subconscious and conscious and reprogramming. So
we're all on the same page.
And I was on 125th today with Azariah, and it had me in the mind state of that conversation because I was standing in the same spot that I was talking to Rich about. So it was on my LCD screen. You know what I'm saying? It was on my flat screen, way home, and then I got here, set up shop. You know what I'm saying? And the spirit told me what it told me right before the show. It was like, look, the brother's going to touch on this point and that point, so you don't even have to emphasize these particular points. Just be a student in the classroom, and here we go. You know what I mean? You dropping this on me, and I'm learning like a whole new. It's like I got not only keys, but like they said in the chat room, you just gave us the master keys to create this new reality. I've been infused with a whole new purpose. And then I was speaking to my brother's Destiny Grind early this afternoon, and they told me, you know what I'm saying, the time is now to create this new reality.
It is. It is.
So, giving us necessary keys. And then, you know, you complimented what we were speaking about in terms of the social currency, because I just want to read the breakdown of social currency one more time, and we can see how tonight's conversation qualifies this whole concept, all right?
Yes, indeed.
Social currency is about creating a sense of community, and by that, a strong affiliation between customers, consumers, and users of a quote-unquote brand. Let's say this brand is collective consciousness, okay? Having social currency increases a brand's engagement with consumers and interaction with customers, and by that, adding to the customer conversation around the brand, it grants access to information and knowledge which is being shared within the customer base. Belonging to a group also helps users of a brand to grow personally by accessing new utility and also developing their own identity in the respective peer group. A strong attachment to a brand will also be a core driver for an active advocacy, recommending or even defending the brand. And that's what you're talking about. You have taken that particular concept, put it into an operational structure centered around consciousness. The same thing that we were speaking and calling for, you have brought to us, okay? And the mind or the spirit, the universal one mind, has just been utilizing us in different formats to prepare the people for this particular moment. So I really want to salute you, brother.
Thank you. Thank all of you, you know, for just being there to support. And it's time. It's time now. It's time, and I'm really feeling good about it. I could feel the energy already. You know, I could feel it. That day that earthquake hit, that was a signal that the reality has changed. The operating system was being put in. That was a sign when that earthquake hit. It was a wake-up call. And then that same week, a hurricane comes the same week called Irene. And all you got to do is put the W from wisdom at the end of it, and it means I renew. So, yeah, it's time. It's time. I want to just mention one more thing. I know some people have questions, but I just want to mention one of the other modalities that's very important is called pen creation, or sometimes I call it Tahutic writing. There's a certain way that you could write, and what I keep 2 journals now. And the other journal, whatever it is that I want, I visualize it, and I write in that journal as if it's already in existence and I'm already there. And each day I write a day from the day in that life, in that reality. And do you know that by writing a journal like that, where you writing about something that, let's say, that you desire, a state that you desire to be in, you write that it already exists. I write down, like, I woke up this morning and I'm writing like this. I already have this house. I already have this land. When you begin to write like that, see, the subconscious mind doesn't know between make-believe and what's real. You could visualize something in your mind. The subconscious takes it as being real. If you visualize it really, really well, the subconscious will see that as being a reality, and it will go and do everything it can to support that reality. Remember, it has access to everything in the universe. It's the operating system for everything. So it could call upon all resources, including other human beings, to make the realization of your wish, your program coming to realization. So all you got to do, I don't want to say you trick the subconscious mind, but by visualizing, I have another thing called dramatization, where I came up with ways where I call it hand sigilling. Every sigil that you make with this system, remember, every character could be formed with the hands. So when you create a sigil, I have a way where I do a hand sigil with it. It almost looks like how the gangs do what they call stacking. I have a way where once you create your sigil, you do the hand sigiling with it, and that's another way of further programming into your subconscious mind. These are all, when you combine all these different divination, and I use a tarot card system, and divination is a very, very important part of it. In the Matrix, it was called the Oracle. That was the divination part of this system. There's 8 different modalities. If you do the other one, audio output, or what is known as invocation or invoke or vocalization, like I'm doing now. When you vocalize your sigil or that which you desire in certain ways, it will manifest. These are
what we have for this new moon is the 10 invocations that the Blue Pill was talking about earlier, where you will things into existence. You don't ask or wish for anything. You will it into existence. You speak it into existence with power.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you invoke it. I invoke the, I easily invoke the power to manifest abundance. And that's how you bring it down through this tree of life. It's all magic. It's all Moorish as well. You know what I'm saying? This is Moorish science. This is modern-day Moorish science in its finest. You broke it down, the whole computer system that we've always been saying from day one. This is your Moorish science, all put in one. They put it all together. The Matrix, shout out to Sophia Stewart, Master Moore right there, the Master Mobite.
She's the one who gave me the name Morpheus. It was Sophia Stewart. Sophia Stewart, the mother of the Matrix, the Oracle. She's the one who told me I was Morpheus. We would talk on the phone for hours and hours. I got a call, as a matter of fact. And when we would talk, I would turn out all lights in my house, and I would talk to her, and I would call a cinema of the mind, and we would talk for hours, and we would literally paint movies in each other's heads. And she's the one who gave me the name Morpheus. Sophia was the Oracle.
Well, then coming from her, you really holla tell Fishburne. Give you your name, like you're really Morpheus now. Like if she gave you the name, then it's official. There's no, you know what I'm saying?
She told me. She said I'm gonna bring you on. She said when I set up my Asiatic Hollywood, I'm bringing you on as a consultant as Morpheus. That's exactly what she told me. And I got to call. And now that I mention her name, I got to call her because we would talk for hours, and it was weird because I just met her. I remember in the 13th book of the Journal of Moorish Paradigm, I wrote an article about Sophia Stewart. Like a month later, me and her talking on the phone as if we knew each other for 1,000 years.
Because you do know each other for 1,000 years.
We did.
Please send our love to her when you speak to her as well, brother.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She's an incredible woman. And you know how people remember different things from their past life? She's the only person I know who remembered details of their past life. And when she was reading me details of her past life, you know how you get deja vu and it just comes and goes like in a second? When she was describing to me her past life, I would get deja vu and it wouldn't stop. It would just keep on going.
Right.
And I
Brothers,
take it no
I want to interject very quickly. It's 11:09. We have 2 minutes to set up for this 11:11 meditation. I want to give the family the instructions how to prepare themselves, but I want you to give them instructions on what it is we're going to go in tonight collectively on. So this could be a precursor to Thursday, which is just a binary 2 jump from now. So family, please find yourself in a dark place, like the brother said, a cinema of the mind, okay? Find yourself seated on something flat with your back straight, your feet on the floor, your hands are either palms on your knees or you have them in a, in a mudra or whatever, all right? We're taking deep abdominal breaths, pulling in from our nose, exhaling out of our mouth, and I want you to program what it is this meditation is going to be about.
All right, brothers and sisters, just visualize us there in that world, in that Matrix 5.0, where we could manifest anything that we want. Visualize us in that space where we're all sovereigns. There's no subjects. There's no starvation. There's no wars. We are in full control of this, and we could navigate in any part of the universe and partake of anything because we are the gods. Just visualize that reality. Visualize that reality.
Indeed.
Mani Padme Hum, 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 mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme.
Peace.
Peace. I felt that.
Yeah,
I felt
do a
that.
whole show on that, man.
Yeah. I felt it. I really could feel that. That was a good introduction to what we're gonna be doing.
Whew.
And I could feel it. I could feel it's gonna be powerful. And just using our minds, we're gonna change this world. We're gonna change this world.
Spirit wanted me to preference the science of writing the invocations because there are a lot more people that are on the call now that were on, previously when we started. So, family, this is the opportune time. If no other time ever existed, tonight is the night. All right? To write your 10 power invocations. These are new moon invocations. All right? Gods and goddesses invoke. They do not wish. Okay, wishing is passive, all right? So by invoking, the science of invoking is that you are to write down your invocations on a piece of paper, not type them on your iPad or your MacBook, but physically write them. The science of, or what they refer to as quote-unquote Kabbalah or magic, is you bring things down from the four realms, you bring them into this physical realm by actually writing them. You know what I'm saying? There's power in the writing. That's why they call it a spell. So with either preferably a pencil, a lead, because that lead is dealing with Saturn. If you could find you a number 2 pencil, that's the best thing. If not, a black pen will be better. Will be the next best thing. You write down 10 invocations. There are 3 power days. Today being the most powerful one. Tomorrow's another day. Thursday is going to be the 3rd day. Ironically enough, you are allowed to write 10 different invocations on each power day. The time for the invocations are from tonight all the way up into midnight, from tomorrow from 12:01 a.m. all the way up into 9:51 p.m., From Thursday, it would be from 12:05 a.m. all the way to midnight. You know what I'm saying? What you do, the way that you write your invocations, or you express them in the mannerism such as this. I'm going to use myself as an example. This is not how you write it, but you put your name, you fill in the blanks. Your name, in this case, my name is Paul Moreland. I, Paul Moreland, strongly invoke the will to manifest a new reality. Okay? This is a Libra new moon. Libra is about the scales. It's not about balanced scales. It's about bringing the scales into balance. So for those of us that have things that are out of balance in our life, this is the time to bring those things into balance. There's nothing to be ashamed of. The opportunity has presented itself. The brother has brought forth a wonderful explanation to tell you that you are in control. You are now the architect. You are now the person that is sitting at the computer programming the code instead of the person that has been programmed. So release yourself from that particular paradigm, move into your seat of power, and now start the programming. The programming takes place right now with reconfiguring the mind, but it continues with you writing these invocations. Like the brother said, and be specific in your invocations. Don't only say that you want to change things. Express how you want to change things, how you want it to look. Okay? Write yourself into your divine future. My mother always told me the power of visualization is seeing yourself actually there doing it. Not saying you want to get there, but you got to see yourself there doing it. If you want to see yourself, if you want a house, you got to see yourself in the living room looking at TV. If you want a particular a car or something, and these things are mundane, but these are what people want. You got to see yourself actually in that whip. You got to smell the new level. You got to be able to touch the wood grain. Turn the radio on. You know what I'm saying?
You said it. You were saying it, man. You are saying it. That's exactly it. See the little details. Because the little details tells your subconscious mind, this must be true. How is he seeing these little details? See that little breadcrumb on the table and touch it. You know what I'm saying? In your new house. And your subconscious mind be like, Dad, this must be real, because how could he make up that? You know what I'm saying? The details, that's what you got to keep in with the details. And keep a journal. I'm telling you, keep 2 journals. One journal in the consensus reality and one journal in that realm, whatever it want to be. That new home with the solar panels, with your land, with your herb garden in the back, whatever. Visualize it. Write about how I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning and I decided just to walk down the steps and walk outside and look up at the stars. I would be writing that in my journal and I'm just feeling tingling going through my body. And when you feeling that, believe me, that program is going into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind going to do everything in its power, and it's all powerful to make it happen. Your subconscious mind will be your first with God. Yeah, what's that?
What about the vision boards?
Yeah. All these things, if you implement these things and you do them together, the visualization, the dramatization, what I do is with the hand sigilling, is I'm doing it like how you see how the gang members be stacking or whatever. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it to the beat like I'm dancing. I'm making it into a dance. And next thing I know, I'm tranced out. And when you get into that tranced out stage and you doing that hand sigil with your hand, that's you programming it. You locking it in there. You locking it in there. Then you do your divination, and your divination confirm it. And then when I pick a tarot card and I want to know the energy of that visualization, I'm visualizing myself with a new house, whatever the case may be, and I want to know what's the energy of that situation, and a card come up. Now, I take that card, I draw it, or I Xerox it, and I carry it with me, fold up like it's a talisman. These are all little things that we do. When you do it together, all in sync together, these 8 things,
yes,
it will manifest. And the most powerful thing is that mastermind. When we all in that alpha state, whatever you think about, whatever you program at that moment, it's going to become real. It's going to become real. That sigil, I put that sigil everywhere. My sigil is on my desktop. It's in my car. I made a sigil one time. I made a program one time. My transmission had went. Like in the spring, it had went. I went to the car shop. They said your transmission is shot. You need a whole new transmission. I created a sigil, and do you know I maintained that car for another 8 months, just doing that hand sigil every time. Every time I start acting, in the car, I just boom, 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 do the hand sigil. I drove that car for another 8 months, and then when I bought a new one, I just traded that one in, and they gave me money for it, just to show you how powerful this thing is for real. Heal yourself. I'm working so many different programs. Eventually, y'all got to be working so many programs. Y'all going to have to keep a journal just with the different programs, with the sigils. I'm going to have a spot on the website where you can post your sigils up there as well. If you want to keep it, if you want to just be open with it, then you can actually put up your sigil, the actual statement and everything, and just let the whole world see it. If you want to be more secretive about it, then you could just put down the source code form of it that's just without the vowels and without the repeated consonants, and so just like a series of 8 or 10 consonants. Nobody can really see what it is, but if they just go to your page and just visualize it, if they just look at it, they activating it.
So you get it tatted on yourself?
Tatted on yourself? I got it on my car.
There's people that are into tattoos these days. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me mention that too about tattoos, because that's a form of sigil. When you put that on your body like that, that's why you could put a tattoo on you.
Talismans, yeah.
Yeah, it could change your life. You could put the wrong tattoo on you, and it will change your life for the worse. That's why you see people trying to remove certain tattoos off their body. You could put another tattoo on your body, and your whole life will change. That's why our ancestors would actually cut into the flesh, because the flesh is a medium of the avatar. And when you cut into it, when you draw a sigil into it, it's activated. Immediately it's activated with blood and everything.
It's on for life.
That's right. Okay. That's right. They got the orgone energy, all like the ashe from the blood, all that's there. Yeah. That is real.
And talking about glitches in the Matrix, family, also want to tell the family that they have an opportunity to change their reality in the here and now. Please participate in the campaign to sign up the petition for the recognition of the Moorish treaties, okay? And that's the Murukush has put together a campaign. So please, family, we're going to drop the link in the chat room. And, go over there and put your signature on that petition and change that particular reality, okay? Put the glitch in that particular matrix. Now, I want to go to the callers. Many hands are up.
Yeah, this is going to be the fun.
I want to ask Brother Rich, if you're on the phone listening to tonight's program, please press number 1. I want to bring you in as well. I'm going to go directly to the lines at this particular time. Caller calling from the 304-894. Peace. Caller from the 304. All right. I'll come back to the 304. Let's go to the 614. The 614-975 caller. Peace.
All I want to do is say thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
It ain't nothing else I can say. I mean, I've been building for years. Since 2000 is when I came into what I think is a whole different reality than what the people around me was on. And I've had so many encounters with different people, and I got a friend of mine that's in Atlanta that's probably listening as well, and we build every day. And I mean, when you was talking about this whole new thing as far as like Neo, when he didn't feel like he was a part of the world, like I feel like that every day, like I own a business and I'm not doing bad in this society, but like I just feel out of place, like it's something else, like I'm not really a part of this.
That's right.
And now I know why. That's why all I really could say is thank you. And I've been trying to hit the little website or whatever, but it's not really working just yet. But I'm gonna keep trying till it gets right, I guess, because that community you talking about the Neo types. I feel like that's me.
I can hear.
I still got a long way to go as far as like intellectual knowledge on it. You know, you brothers speak a lot better than I do. Your research is definitely more refined than mine, but I'm here, I'm ready though.
Brother, we are you. You know what I'm saying? So as long as we have this information, you have it, and that's what this network is about. Anything that you need, you know what I'm saying, some touching up on, the brothers and the sisters will be there for you. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny how people say things, people that's in tune say things that you was already thinking. Like, I was already sitting here thinking that at the same time while I was listening. Like, while I'm sitting here trying to find the knowledge and find this, it's like, but wait a minute, I'm listening to it now. Like, this is where I start. I'm thinking to myself, where do I start? And I'm like, this is where I start. All I got to do is go to this website. All I got to do is go to this. This ain't even my first time listening to Know the Ledge anyway. You know what I'm saying? But it's like all this time I've been listening, I never thought to myself, like, really, go to one of these websites. What do you think if you want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? And another thought I had since you was talking was because you said something about the keys. And, you know, I couldn't help but remember that on that third Matrix, or it might have been the second, it was the key maker.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, he had the keys to everything. Like, anywhere they went, he just pulled out the key when to start the motorcycle. Here, take this one.
That's
so
right.
Like, and I remember thinking to myself when I was watching it, like, I need to find the key maker.
Did you see the Adjustment Bureau?
Yeah. I don't miss no movies, man.
So, all right, because you know that all the sciences in the movies.
All
so
the Adjustment, Avatar, all that.
Exactly.
Code.
Exactly. All of the information, because the Kabbalists are operating through the realms of Hollywood, and we try our best not to approach it from a conspiratorial point of view and a spookism point of view. We're letting the family know, look, Kabbalah was taught to these Kabbalists by our people. The Zohar and all of this,
it all came from us. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So they've perfected the art of the storyteller thing. We were doing the same thing by telling stories in the court and whatnot and casting spells and whatnot. They've perfected it in Hollywood, so there's nothing bad about it. This is and it programs reality. It's it's one of the most powerfulest tools on the planet right now. So a lot of the information is it. But in the Adjustment Bureau, remember, with the hat on, with the fez on, you go through all doors. You were able to open up all of the different doors and whatnot, similar to what the key maker was doing in the Matrix and whatnot. So when you have the key, which people is a form of consciousness, you now are able to walk into any different realm that you wish, brother. So you can exist in all realms and all planes because you have that cap on, you have that hat on, you have the fez on, and it allows you to go into the Matrix. Consciousness is your key. It's just that many of us, we don't realize that we have that janitor key around our thing, and we trying to open up one specific door. And the golden rule, the golden lesson is no. These are the keys to open all doors. And
another
open
thing
doors.
I think that another thing is that our sources of entertainment, these movies, they kind of like double agents too, because I think that another purpose is they serve is to distract as well. So it's like, it seems like if you be into them too much,
of course,
you're distracted from who you are.
That's why decoders, and that's why we're here to decode what some people may mistaken as just pure entertainment. It's entertainment to the profane. You know what I'm saying? The people who don't know what they're watching.
I found some of the deepest messages in cartoons.
Thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just mention.
What they're in it for is your attention, because once they have your attention and they can program you, it's you know what I'm saying? So it's a give and a take. If you're not going to program your existence, somebody's going to program it for you. It's the same in the street. Either you know what I'm saying? And in street terms, either you pimping or you the bitch.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. If you don't control your mind, someone else will.
Yeah.
And a lot of those movies, see, remember, if the subconscious mind is the operating system for everything and everybody in the universe, then you may have a person who write a movie and they don't even know that they're being used as a tool of the subconscious mind or quantum computer so that you could receive a certain message.
Yep.
They may not even be aware of the
movie.
science. You see what I'm saying? They may not even be aware, consciously aware of the jewels that they're dropping in their movie because they are being used.
I noticed that just from building with my wife on what her perception of is on what we just saw and what my perception was. And just like the different, what she hears in music and what I hear in music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you know, that's why it's good for us to communicate, because we together come up with another understanding just from that. You know, and you know how things come once you just start talking, once you just start saying what you think, and then, you know, then things just come out of nowhere. You're like, oh, hold up. And this is why I need to join this community. It's because I need to learn how to properly harness that energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm just tired. I'm tired of being lost. I'm tired of being consciously lost.
There you go. More. Let me just say to you more that you are exactly the type, neotype, that I'm looking for. Those are the types. And I'm running to them all over the place in the stores. I might be in Borders or whatever. Young brothers and sisters, older, what does it make a difference? They all have that same feeling like there's something just not right here. I don't feel like I fully belong here. The things that this society emphasizes is not me. See, in the subconscious mind, if it was in control, it just wants a world where it could express itself in the most creative, the most artistic, using music. That's the whole point of this world. Not to make money, not to seek power, not to seek fame, not to seek control, not to get money. That's the left brain world. You see what I'm saying? The world that we are shooting for is a world where there's no such thing as a 9-to-5. There's no such thing as money. You manifest everything you need. And so the whole purpose is just to express your divine self in the most beautiful way you can using art, music, so on and so forth. That's the world that we're shooting for. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. I'm interested in a world of service. You know what I'm saying? Where this monetary system is definitely something that I'd like to see totally destructive. And when you talk about what I'm invoking or what you know, when I'm trying to put into it, it's that. I'm ready for that to be done.
That's what we're talking about.
And anybody that's ready for that to be done, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Healing each other. You know what I'm saying?
A world, you talk about a world where you mean to tell me I got the power to really manifest things from my mind, directly from my mind. But then the thing that really hits me as far as that is like, but wait a minute, what do I really want? I don't even know what I really want.
There you go. And be careful what you ask for.
Be careful what I ask for. I got so many things that I need to delete. I gotta begin to delete so that I know what else to delete. And it's just like, you know, only way that's going to happen is if I get myself in tune with brothers like you.
Together.
And
remember
do it together.
I know one thing, we have to do it together. Remember she said when she was sitting on that park bench with the crows and stuff like that? And he said, Neil asked her something like, how is it going to happen, or how is it going to be done? How are we going to win? She said, I don't know how it's going to happen. She said, but I do know one thing, it's going to be together.
It's going to be together.
That's the only way. We have to come together. Yeah, we have to come together.
Let me tell you, I just want to tell y'all this, and then I'm out, and I'm going to begin my journey with you. Aside from this, how my journey started was back in 99 or 2000, whenever The Matrix came out. Me and a girlfriend of mine went to the movies, and whatever movie it was that we went to see wasn't playing. I mean, it was playing, but it was too late. And I looked up and I seen this Matrix, and I was like, that looks like that might be good. And we went in and watched the movie, and I'm watching it. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, from the beginning, I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. And I'm sitting up, and she just laid back, just watching it like she just seeing an action flick. And I'm there, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I'm asking her after the movie, like, did you hear that? My journey started. And then I went back to at the time I was in school, and I was an instructor. I was talking to him about the movie, and it was just crazy, and that's where it went from there. And I lived in Atlanta for a while, and then I picked up a book from Malachi Z. York called The Mind, and it's like that came to me after that. and it was like, wait a minute, what's going on? I think at some point I kind of willed it to stop.
Yo, I hear so many people referencing that book in regards to, you know what I'm saying, a particular tome that they just came into contact with to free their mind.
Oh, you talking about that book, The Mind?
Yeah, The Mind.
For an initiate is very, very, very instrumental. Like, because it's like when you questioning things, if you're questioning anything, you know, I guess for me, the main thing I was questioning in this world was just religion. I just wasn't believing in God the way other people did, to the point where I felt like I don't even believe in that shit. That's crazy what y'all talking about. And then, you know, and it just that's what started, you know, because I ended up finding out I was a person that I needed more of a definition on things.
Yeah,
you know, everybody's out here talking God this and God that, and you see on Facebook everybody's turning it into a religious book and everything, and they don't even know what they're talking about.
Neo, you know what clip I would love you to play? I wish I had that clip, because all the clips y'all playing was right on time. The other clip was good too, where after they told Neo to follow the White Rabbit, and then he went to that club, and then when Trinity came up to him and was talking to his ear and said, "I know what you're looking for." You know, you sit at your computer day in, day out, or whatever. You're looking for something. That's the neotypes, like the brother here who's speaking. These are the neotypes. They search for it. They know what it is. They can't really put their finger on it, but that's what all the Divine told me to do, which is give voice to it. Just
my
put it
favorite
into
part.
a language.
My favorite part was when she told him, when he was ready to get out the car, and she told him, "You've been down that road. You know exactly where it is." You know exactly where it is.
Exactly, man. We tired of playing this game, and that's why I just want us to form a community of these neotypes, of those ones who want a different world, who know that something is wrong with this, and want out of this game. And the only way we're gonna do it is together.
You know what? It ain't even about whether something's wrong or right with it. It's just obviously not ours. It's not ours. It's not ours. It's not what we're creating. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it's played out. It's played out.
It's played out. It's not what we're manifesting. It's their thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whoever they are, it's them. You know what I mean?
We created it, and they grafted themselves onto it and took it down another road. You know, but we created that. That's why when Honorable Mama said, you know, we the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth. We made these things. All the planets, the way this universe functions, all that's part of the consensus reality that we created from day one. And we took it to different changes of the operating system. And right now we're about to witness a major change in the operating system. Matrix 4.0, its formula was a handful of sovereigns and masses and multitudes of subjects. Matrix 5.0, everyone's a sovereign. There are no subjects because everyone has
you
the
changed
construct.
my life with that. You changed my life with that. 4.0, 5.0. My whole life has changed behind that. I can't even. I don't even know what tomorrow's going to bring right now. It's crazy. Like I'm on a whole different thing. I got a whole new charge, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be
the
a new
11:11 meditation. I was on that with you. My back was against the wall. My feet was planted. I was breathing abdominally. I was with y'all. I'm in it. Get the sight working, man, because it still ain't going through.
This is the cherry on top of the. This is the cherry on top of the pie. When you do that invocation tonight, when you write those 10 invocations down on that piece of paper, that's when it all changes, for real.
So
5.0. When you put that, because we're sitting in a moon, a new moon is upon us as we speak right now. So the power is present in the now, because nothing exists that's more powerful than the now.
Super new moon, the first of
super
three.
New moon. Yeah, the first of three.
Not only that,
and I want to add that there also.
Why did I make my wallpaper on my phone a picture of a moon just 2 days ago?
Because
you in tune.
You right in tune. This conversation that we having, this whole manifestation of the conversation is a manifestation of the super new moon. It's coming out in words. It's a manifestation of the moon. This is a gift from the moon. This conversation that the brother brought forth tonight. You know what I'm saying? So we need to put the seal on it, the Matrix 5.0. Put that seal on it for the family that's listening, the hundreds of people that's on the line. We put the seal on it by us all putting our invocations. Because remember, we could do 10 a day. So at least for tonight, let's do that 10 to go right in line with what Hakim was saying directly on some Matrix stuff.
Let's get some more comments. Let's get some more questions.
Yeah, let's get some more.
A lot of people. Let's kind of roll through them. Yeah, let's give everybody a chance.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's get some more. I'm feeling somebody just aching right now to get on the phone. So let's let everybody get a chance. Let's try and make it quick though. You know, so people.
Indeed. Very quickly before I do that, because I just came across some information that I have to share with the family, because the family in the chat is asking me some information in regards to sigils, the meaning of sigils.
Mhm.
Man,
all right.
And I got to do this for the family. It's obligatory. Give me 1 second. I got to pull this back up. It just had crashed.
And while you're doing that, I'm predicting that the new dance that's going to come out in 2012 in Matrix 5.0 is going to be called sigil dancing, where each person, imagine you at a party, and each person, they dancing, and they dancing their sigil, they hand sigiling their sigil as they dancing.
That's deep.
Imagine that energy. That's going to be the next dance. It's going to be hand sigiling.
The definition of sigils, family, and I want the family to look up sigils that are not in the chat room. The spelling of it is S-I-G-I-L, okay? Sigil is a symbol created for a specific magical purpose, right? And I asked the family before, do not get spooked when we say magic. A sigil is usually made up of a complex combination of several specific symbols or geometric figures, each with a specific meaning or intent. The term sigil derives from the Latin sigillum, meaning seal, though it may also be related to the Hebrew segula, meaning word, action, or item of spiritual effect. A sigil may have an abstract, pictorial, or semi-abstract form. All right? In medieval ceremonial magic, the term sigil was commonly used to refer to quote-unquote occult signs which represented various angels and demons which the magician might summon. The magical training books called grimoires often listed of such sigils. Now, let me jump into Matrix 5.0. Okay? Sigil, computer programming.
There you go.
Programming, sigil is a symbol attached to a variable name showing the variable's data type or scope. The use of sigil was popularized by the BASIC programming language. The best-known example of a sigil in BASIC is the $sign. Hold on.
You see the symbol? You see the sigil I have on the book? You see the $sign there, right?
I seen it.
Look,
I
you see that $sign in there.
Hold on. All right.
No doubt.
Yeah, you murked that. Let's go to
this. No doubt.
I think Trinity is on the line.
Huh?
All right. I said I think Trinity is trying to get through on the line. Let's open up our line.
All right, let on.
Hold on. Did you say you think Trinity is on the line?
Yeah.
Let me go back to that. Let me open the line up real quick. Let's see where she at.
Let her through.
All right. Caller calling in from the 646-894. Peace, caller.
Peace, guys. What's popping, y'all?
Peace.
Okay. This is not Trinity, but
this is Brother Kwamega.
This is Morpheus.
I'm a good friend of P. Morpheus and Phil. How y'all doing?
Kwamega.
Kwamega was good.
Hey,
this show is phenomenal. The show is phenomenal, brother.
Right here.
I wanna give a special big up to the master scientist, Brother Hakim Bey. I know P, so I'm gonna get your info from P. But I got a formula that I want to share with you. I'm an audio engineer and a producer, and it's wild that I got on the show the last part of it, and I got in right as you was talking about the alpha waves and whatnot. So I just wanted to give you a kudos on just the science you sharing with the universe right now, because they need it.
Sign up. Yeah, I want you to sign up, too, because that's what I want. We're going to build this thing together. And that expertise that you got, you know, once you sign up, you can create posts, articles, chat, everything, man. So I want you to include that, because there's other pieces to this. I'm just laying the foundation. This thing is going to be built up. It's going to be crazy by the time we get to Matrix 5.0. We're going to be able to say be, and so shall it be. You know,
I just want to. As you speak, so shall it be. Go ahead, brother. But I said, as you speak, so shall it be. I'm signed up already, actually, and definitely you're a master teacher, and I have a lot to learn from you. I think Brother Red Pill wanted to jump in. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to y'all brothers, man. It's amazing, masterful knowledge y'all giving to people that definitely will need it immediately.
No doubt. For the family, this is the brother that helped us. This is the brother who started our music career right here on the phone. This is Quad Mega right here. He's the first person that believed in us, and he's the first person that started recording us. He's the architect behind the Red and the Blue Pill music career, the whole movement. This is the man right here. So this is our architect.
This is also the brother responsible for Iron Man off of that KTL 3.0 that so many people are loving. The P-Morph is definitely... You know what I'm saying? It's definitely full forward ahead. So I want to say thank you, Brother Quan Mega, for being
a quick shout out. Listen, bro, look out KTL Nation for P Morpheus EP title Spoken Groove. It's gonna be coming out for his birthday. He don't even know about it yet, but we about to work on that tonight.
Peace. Man, y'all brothers are doing a good, excellent job, man. I'm always commending y'all. Y'all make me so happy to see y'all generation coming up and doing what y'all doing, man. I just got to give y'all enough props and enough kudos. You know, keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. But it's brothers like you working with us, the elders working with us and letting us know that we're on the right path. It's you turning back around with the flashlight and shining it and saying, come on, brothers, y'all on the right path. Let's go through this dark tunnel. The light is right here. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a few elders who took their time out and their dedication and committed their lives and themselves to raising us up. And that's real talk. Even Kwame knows early 99, 98, 2000, when we was all trying to figure out how we was going to get there and what to do, it was the Valentines of the world, the Himmets of the world, the Hakim Beys of the world, the Tajas of the world. You are the saviors, are the liberators. You are the ones who raised us up.
We Morpheus and y'all the Neos.
Y'all the Morpheus, exactly. So this Matrix thing has been going on, like the brother said. I think we was in the same movie theater because I went through the same exact thing in the movie theater when I went to go see. I had a date. She was checking the action out, and I was getting my mind blown away because I said, I cannot believe that I'm being programmed right now, and everything that I've been learning and reading about is on the screen right now. Everything changed after that night. My whole reality changed in one night. And my journey began. I truly put myself on a path, and that's when things started going.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you. I got to keep it moving, though. We got like 8 minutes to the live.
Let me just ask you to go to the next one. Family, I know the website is getting hit up. I'm looking at the numbers. It's like a lot of people's getting there. I think that may be the reason some people's having problems, but keep on trying. You're going to get through. In the meantime, I'm gonna speak to the host to find out what's going on, because it should have the capacity to handle that many people with no problem. So I got to speak to them, because that shouldn't be happening. But the site is up and it's functioning perfectly. It's just a bandwidth situation, I'm pretty certain, and I got to speak to them about that. But yeah, let's take some more calls.
All right. I think we got Trinity on line 6. Hold on.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Let's see what she said.
Hello, Neo.
How do you know that name?
I know a lot about you.
Who are you?
My name is Trinity.
Trinity. The Trinity? That cracked the IRSD base.
That was a long time ago.
Jesus.
What?
I just thought, you were a guy.
Most guys do.
That was you on my computer. How did you do that?
Right now, all I can tell you is that you're in danger. I brought you here to warn you.
What?
They're watching you, Neo.
Who is?
Please just listen. I know why you're here, Neo.
Yeah. There you go.
Caller from the 704-704-661. Hey.
Peace.
Hey.
Yeah, actually, oh man, I want to say thanks to Hakim Bey. Man, I've been reading your stuff for quite some time now. I don't know, it's crazy. I many people have tried to open me up in the past 20 years, and I'm only 35. But so many things have been coming to me, so much information, and every time I keep backsliding. And I just signed up with your website. I think you have to click on catch. Click, like when the error code comes up, click on open with catch, and it should open up that way. You just have to. It's just all wording instead of the actual. And then you click on become a member. You go through the little process, and everything will start loading up from there. It's a little slow. Sometimes you have to hit refresh. But eventually you'll get through. And I just downloaded the book, and I'll begin reading it come tomorrow. But I just wanted to say thank you for all the information, man. Just the Morse paradigm. That was actually I can say that the first book that got me. I know this is kind of off the mark, but the first book that opened me up was Behold the Pale Horse. That a guy showed it to me in '94. I dismissed it, be crazy, whatever. He tried to convince me, but I looked at it around '99 as well, and read it all the way through. But one thing I didn't read was the Protocols of Zion. I didn't, because it was hard to read. But look at all the sigils that y'all talk about, and also with the I think Brother Phil Valentine touched on it about the sigils that they're using for the new Olympics, and the whole Zion.
Zion, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And now they actually pulled me back to that book to read the Protocols of Zion to see exactly why he put that in the book. And at the same time, I'm reading another book called The Code to the Matrix that Brother Sevan wrote. That one's great, but also, Hakim Bey, I just wanted to thank you, man. That information that you put out there, man, opened me up to so many different things I would have never thought. Also with the hymns, I've been listening to Brother Red and Blue Pill over YouTube, man. It's just great information. It keeps opening me up. At times we backslide, but I realize I just have to keep moving through. And when you said to delete the programs, I knew I had to speak. I actually had to get on the line and just thank you, because it's a couple programs within my subconscious I need to delete.
Right. That's
and
also
because
and we're gonna help you. We're gonna work together to delete it. We all got them. I mean, all of us got these programs.
Hold on one second. I just want to inform the family that wants to continue this conversation with us off the live stream. Please call 347-637-2135, and we will be continuing this conversation. I will be getting calls, the call queue, so please call in 347-637-2135. Thank you. Please continue.
I think Brother Hakim was saying something.
Yeah, no, I was saying, yes, we all got to get rid of these programs together, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, with the community, that we just be open and say, I'm looking to delete these programs. And we do the program manager. And once we got our program manager, like on my computer, I actually leave my program manager running because it's a good way off to catch viruses, too, because, like, let's say you're trying to, you put in a program to do something positive in your life. Well, you have certain programs, certain viruses that attach themselves to certain programs. And once you start that program, then that virus acts up, and that's how a lot of these negative programs affect us, is that when we try and program something positive, you're going to see the negative virus pop up trying to tell you no. That's when you delete that program. And with the task manager, when you right mouse click a program, it'll stop the process. It has a thing that says stop process and stop process tree. If you catch it, if you catch it soon enough, in other words, when that negative, see the programs in us, it manifests itself as voices, almost like an internal conversation. So now you're going to do something, and you hear a voice saying, "Nah, this is going to happen," or paint a scenario opposite of what you want to do. That's that negative program. If you catch it and delete it, if you stop the process right away, then it won't attach itself to other programs. But if it runs long enough, it starts to extend its tentacles into other programs, and then you have to hit end process tree to get all the branches and trees that is sent out to the other programs, get rid of it at that point. Now, when you hit end process in Task Manager, that doesn't uninstall a program. That just stops the process from running at that moment. It may pop up again. So, but if you keep doing that for 21 consecutive days, then you will completely uninstall the program. And now you could begin to activate the programs without any hindrance or viruses trying to attach itself to the positive programs you're running. So the task manager is one of the most important aspects of it. Then you got the control panel. When you get into healing different organs of your body, when you open up your control panel in your computer, that shows you all the different hardware in your computer. That's like different organs, your reproductive system, different systems of your body. So when you start working on that, then you tap into your control panel, and this is where you begin to heal the different organs and things of your body. So we're going to be using this analogy, these parallels that we use every day. The sigil, that's like an icon. You got icons on your desktop, and when you double-click them, they open up the program. So that's why, just like the icon symbolizes the program, the programs we write are all going to be bottled up and encapsulated into a sigil, which is like an icon on your computer. And when you double-click it, you run it. So we're going to use these analogies because, and you know why I'm using the analogy? And the beautiful thing about using the analogy of the computer is that 99% of the people listening, 99% of the people in the world are now familiar with a computer. And so the best analogy to use is an analogy that most people are familiar with. I don't care if it's a youngster in kindergarten or first grade or an elder, they all have some kind of contact with a computer. And so if I'm talking about Task Manager, all I got to tell everybody listening, if you're in front of your computer, hold down Control or Delete, and you're going to see a box pop up. Observe what's in that box, because that box is showing you all the programs, just like you are, running in the background. And when you just get rid of the crazy programs that's running, just that alone will open up your life. And so that's what we got to do. We all got these crazy programs that our parents installed in us in their ignorance. They didn't know better. They didn't do it on purpose, but they just didn't know better. And sometimes we install these programs in our Twitter not even knowing. I seen a sister walking with a young girl, a grandmother walking with must be her granddaughter, and she said, "Oh, baby, my feet are aching from hard walking." And the little girl repeated her, said, "My feet is hurting too, Grandma." And that little girl's feet probably wasn't hurting. You see what I'm saying? But she just imbibed that program. And so probably as she get older, she probably going to end up having feet problems when she walk and all that stuff like that. And these are just programs that was just installed out of the, just nonchalantly, but they end up affecting you all your life. And so we got to become aware of them first. And then once you're aware of them, watch how they respond. Once they know that you're looking at them, just being aware of them, they change up their behavior. And then when they flash up, all you got to do is say, stop. Delete, kill that. Whatever you use to stop something, you just say it, and that program will stop. And every time it rears its head, just like when you go to an amusement park and a little gophers come up, you hit it down with the mallet. That's how you got to do with those programs. When they come up, when you're doing something positive, and that program comes in, you're trying to lose weight. the program come on, you ain't gonna never, you always gonna be a fat pig. And sometimes we say stuff jokingly about ourselves. You ain't nothing but a fat heifer. We say that to ourselves. That's a program.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man.
And
Wow.
I have reason to believe, especially for the family that's involved in consciousness, that when you are on your right path and when you are beginning to embrace this consciousness, these programs are really beginning to pop up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These viruses are going into overdrive, and that's why a lot of people experience confusion and things of that nature, doubt.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're going through hardships and whatnot because, you know, they have these programs that are probably already hardwired to basically interface with the program, because you're changing the so-called popular consensus. You're going off that path and going.
Hello?
Oh, please. I thought I lost you for a minute.
I think they caught him. Yeah, they think they got him.
Oh, man. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, we got you.
Always get them, too. They always get them between the first 5 and 10 minutes after we go off stream. But we're going to change. We're going to change that.
Wow, man.
I still got about 15 hands in the call queue that I need to get to. So I want to say the caller, salutes and honors to you, and we will definitely see you on the journey, brother.
Oh, honors to all y'all doing these wonderful works, man. It's a great thing because we can already see the path that they've basically designed for us. And like you said, if you don't wake up and design your own, it's basically going to be, the decision's going to be made for you. And I don't think that people are not going to like the results.
If you don't have a Goldman Sachs idea, it's a wrap for you, buddy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, peace, brother. Hope everyone have a wonderful night. And well, I'm sure everyone have a wonderful night after this program. So I won't even say hope because I don't follow that line of hope. I follow the line of the basic control. But peace, brother.
I see that, and that's going to be part of it too. We're going to begin to change our language, and as we change our language, we'll be programming ourselves and our reality totally different. I mean, it's all within our power. It's all within our hands.
Oh yeah,
language.
That's been my whole life. Seriously, everything I've seen, I've always gotten an answer for it. Whether I like the answer or not, it's always come to me, and I'm always I was that person. I was basically that person. I've always been that person. Everybody look at it as, oh man, he's weird, but they don't stay willing to listen. Even though they consider me just this outlandish person, or this is not outlandish, but this weird person. My thought pattern is completely different than the rest of the people that I associated with at the time. But now I'm trying to change that whole every friend.
Right. Well, that's the main thing. The main thing is that you're now conscious and you making the effort to do it. And I want to just mention too with the writing and as you do the writing part, and this is going to be easy for left-handers, but if you can, if you could write these things down using your left hand, because remember it switches over. The left hand is connected to the right brain, and the right hand is connected to the left brain. So when you write with your left hand, this is why they say left-handers are oftentimes more artists and creative and stuff like that. It's directly connected, hardwired into your right brain. So try to write these things if you can. I'm left-handed, so there's no problem for me, but I know it's harder for people who are not left-handed would do it. Write these things down with your left hand, and it programs directly into your right brain.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess that's why they used to break the arms of the left-handed children back, was it back in Russia?
Yeah. And our parents, too. It's like my mother, when I was coming up, she kept trying to put the pen in my right hand. I kept switching to my left hand. I refused, and she kept I kept switching back to my left hand because I refused. But when they do that, it's like in their mind they're making you better integrate into this world. So there's more left brain and right-handed. You know what I'm saying? They feel as if like, all right, I'm gonna make it easier for my child in this world, in this consensus reality by doing this. You see what I'm saying? But I refused. I was one of those ones who just simply refused to be left-handed. And what happened was, my wife, all my children, ended up being left-handed. And the one who was right-handed, my grandmother, ended up making him right. He started off left-handed, but every time she would babysit him, she kept putting the pen in his right-handed and ended up making him right-handed. And he ended up suffering from seizures later on in life. Who knows? Maybe it might have been interconnected from switching the circuits like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something like you mentioned about the what was it called?
Left hand.
The children with autism.
Yeah, man, study these children, man. I'm doing a whole bunch of case studies. I'm going to be posting them on the website.
Yes. Okay. Say thank you though.
I appreciate it, brothers.
All right.
Sorry. Peace.
Okay, let's go to the 785. The 785 caller from 785-787. Peace, caller.
Peace.
Peace.
Hakim Bey, this is Paul and Beverly.
Oh, peace. How y'all doing?
Oh, brother.
Good to hear y'all.
We're rocking it and liking it. That's all we're doing, brother.
Y'all in Ohio yet? Are y'all in Ohio?
Yeah, we here. We just been here about a month now.
Wow. All right. I'm glad y'all was on.
Things are going well. We actually right now looking to see what we can get involved with. We're just surveying the land and seeing where we can put our best foot forward.
Right.
And peace to you also, Phil.
Peace, brother.
We spoke about a few weeks ago. I don't know if you recall my name or not.
This is Paul. This isn't Phil. Phil got dropped off the call.
Okay. Okay, all right. Well, all right then. And you are Paul, right?
Yes, indeed, brother. Peace.
Okay, so you know I'm thinking very kindly of you.
We share a namesake?
Yes, one of the meanings of Paul means keeper of high ideas, holder of lofty thoughts.
That's right. That's right. It's good to hear your voice, and peace, Beverly.
Hey.
Good to hear y'all. Good to hear y'all. Hopefully y'all go and download the book I got there and, be part of the community.
We already got it downloaded and we already signed up, brother. You know how we do
it. Excellent. Yeah, because we got to change this reality. We know the world we want. We just got to do it now. We just got to make it.
Got to write the code. Got to write the code.
Thank the choir, brother. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes, man. I listen to you all talk about, man, in 1999 and 1992, and I just look at y'all and smile. I read Message to the Black Man when it first came out back in 1961.
Wow.
I sold the book when it first came out. So just looking at you all, I'll tell you what it does. It gives me hope, okay?
Yeah.
And Hakim, you can relate to this. When Elijah Muhammad passed in 75, I curled up in a little ball and I cried like a baby.
Yeah, I know.
I know that I did when my father passed.
I know.
However, I love that man. However, the point I'm making is that as I watched the progression of people coming after him, I did not see within them a plan that I thought or I could see would arrive at the conclusion which would be peace on this planet.
That's right.
I did see it. And so as I listen to you brothers, especially the younger brothers, Panic and of course Phil and Paul and Valentine, all of these brothers, I'm listening to them and I'm saying to myself, I got hope now. And so I have often thought about the idea of a master. What you were talking about, I used to call it a mastermind alliance.
Yes.
And so, however, what you said, though, it takes one to initiate anything, but there's always power to be generated in numbers.
There you go.
And I would like you to comment on this thought. I just had this thought. I was talking to Beverly this day. And I said, baby, if a person were to be conscious, they're walking down the street, they slip and fall and bump their head, and they pass out. Now they're unconscious. Somebody comes along, opens up one of those what do you call them? The little pills. You open them up and they stink.
Sniffing salts.
Something like that. You open it up and they come back. Now they're conscious. So I said to myself, we got a lot of people running around saying, I'm conscious. And I wonder if they're giving thought to the difference between conscious and just being conscious and just meaning having your eyes open. You're not unconscious. So in other words, one requires growth, nutrition, studying, applying, growing. Just to be live on the tree, but not receiving any sunlight, you're not really growing. You're not going to be one that's going to end up in the basket. So I was just wondering if you would comment on that, and just let you know, as I said, brother, we're in full support, and once again, whatever we can do to be of assistance to you, it will hurt our feelings if you don't let us know.
Well, thank you, and I definitely appreciate that. And this is what it's all going to be about. It's just going to be about community, about us coming together and pulling these different things together. And like you said, in terms of consciousness, I never forget when there was a committed priest named Tahuti who was initiating me, and he showed me something that always stood out in my mind. And anybody could do this and try this at home. He took a candle, which was lit, and then he had another candle in the other hand, which was lit as well. And he snuffed out the flame of one candle. And when you snuff out the flame of a candle, that thin wisp of black smoke comes up.
Absolutely.
He took the other candle that was lit and held it about 6 inches above the other candle that went out. But he held it so that the flame touched that wisp of smoke that came up. But as soon as it touched that wisp of smoke, I actually see the flame go down the wisp of smoke and relight the other candle, even though it didn't physically touch it. And so that just always reminded me of what we do, each other, when there's situations where this society has snuffed out the flame of conscience of a brother or sister, all we got to do is come in the vicinity with our flame. And oftentimes it'll just travel down that wisp of smoke and relight them.
Right. That's right. That's absolutely right.
So this is what we got to do sometimes, because sometimes, like I said, this society that we in, it snuffs out that genius side, that quantum computer, as I mentioned before, but when it comes in contact with another one, it can relight that flame, and this is what we got to do. But then it's good to have some place to bring them, and this is why I want to set up a community so that when we do reignite that flame of consciousness in the brother or sister whose flame was snuffed out, then we can say, now come be a part of this now, and that light will stay, lit forever.
Right.
Because that's very important to have a community, something that they could be a part of, because, we know how it is out there. Like, many times I used to see brothers hanging out in the corner, but like when I became conscious, I would see my old friends and them hanging out, still selling and everything, or some just got out of jail, and I would talk to them, and at that moment I'm talking to them, they see it, they're like, yeah. But then I leave them a couple of days, a week later, come back, they still in the same thing because they still in the same environment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it just pulls them right back down into it. And even though at that moment they've seen it clearly, I remember times talking to drug dealers, they got tears in their eyes. They see it so much. At that moment, a week later, they right back into it, and before you know, they either shot or they locked up again or whatever the case may be. So I used to actually feel bad sometimes talking to brothers and sisters like that and not having no place to bring them to fortify that, a different environment. So that's why, to me, it's important to have the community, because there's many out there that thinking how we thinking out here now, but there's not a community, of those who are like-minded. And so I said, let me put together something where we could come together, express those thoughts. Everybody could post. Everybody could create articles. Everybody could chat. Everybody could post the things that they're working on, their dreams, their aspirations, and then have other brothers and sisters come by and give support to that and give points for giving that support.
That's absolutely right. What you are talking about takes me all the way back to Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he said that in order to change the people, you must change the literature, the information.
That's right. That's right.
That's what you are proposing. That's why I said that I can already see that. I can already see that. I know that once you change the person's thinking, because that's the base, as you said, that's the construct. So change the construct.
That's what Hakim Bey did when he came along with the Moorish paradigm, and his work superseded himself. He was truly Morpheus. Like Neo used to read about Morpheus, used to read his code online, but he never met the man. Before I actually met the man, Hakim Bey, I was introduced to his works, which were almost like coming into contact with precious pieces of mythos. Like, that was like finding the Dead Sea Scroll. It was something you always heard about, and when you actually came into contact with the Moorish paradigm and you read it, and it opened you up to these new realities, you was like, wow, I can actually let go of the lies and embrace the truth, and the truth seemed so far away yet so close. I was holding it in my hand, and then I actually met the man in flesh, and, you know, that was a whole new dimension, you know what I'm saying, like you said, because he resonates on a whole nother frequency in terms of the passion that he has for this.
Indeed. Well,
brother has made trips,
tonight, but I'm not, because I want other people to be able to come on. Because as I said, this is where I'm at. This is where I've been for a long time. So I'm not going to take up any more time, although I would love to. I love speaking to you, Brother Hakim. As you already know, we've talked for hours. But not the time. So I'm going to hang up and continue to listen, though. But I will say that I'm looking forward to working with you, beloved.
Sounds good. Excellent. Peace to y'all.
Peace.
And I just want to mention along the lines what I was saying, you know, it says here that, it says, but man, like every other daughter of Allah, and this is from the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it says, but man, like every other daughter of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So we are seeds of Allah. Naturally, this is the time of the maturity of man, when we coming into our godhood now. It says, but now seeds are perfect. Yeah, as perfect as the source from which they came, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in the soil / environment or society that he might grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower. So the social environment we find ourselves in, that's the soil. And if the soil is nutrient poor, then what? The growth of that seed is going to be what? Stunted. And so now we just stuck out here with a bunch of saplings whose growth is stunted, who's supposed to be full-grown oak trees, but because of the soil that we came up in, the environment we come up in, is nutrient deficient, we just saplings.
Right.
And allow me to build on that, because that's a beautiful kernel. In addition to that, what happened to us is in addition to that, rather than just allow us to be saplings, in other words, just images of what we could be, someone came along and actually reprogrammed us to be other than self, so that we did grow up, but our fruit was not nutritional and able to be passed on to cause other people to go in the right path, to go in the right image. Instead, we produce enemies of ourselves.
That's right.
But once again, as I say, the key is changing the language.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Changing the program.
Yeah, we could talk all night, brother. So I'm gonna leave so that I can let other people come along and speak.
That's the perfect way. Before you get off, I just want to say that he segued to where I wanted to end this conversation, and that's where you come in, Brother Paul.
Yes, sir.
And that's the meaning. Another meaning of Paul is stone, and that stone is where those minerals lie.
That's right.
And that mineral deficiency or depletion is what he's talking about, dealing with the soil. So that soil needs some more Paul in it.
Yes.
Hey, thank you. We will definitely continue this conversation. Peace.
All right.
Sounds good. Peace. And I just want to mention one other thing, too, as a side note, but you're going to see more of it around, so I just want to comment on it. And these are the various orbs that are being seen around the world now. And these orbs are seraphim, or similar to Seraph in the movie Morpheus. And they are that which protects that which matters most. So they're like immune system. They're protectors. They're here to protect. And this is why when you go to YouTube and you look under the Disclosure Project, they had all those military men that come on, and they said that these orbs are paired over all the nuclear installments in military bases and either deactivated the military warheads, reoriented it, or melted them down. So those orbs that we're seeing those were the equivalent of the angels known as the seraphim or seraph. I remember that seraph in the movie Matrix protected the Oracle and Neo. And remember the first thing he did was shake Neo's hand, the handshake. When you look up seraph in computer programming, these are the programs that implement the handshake programs, so that when you try and get into a particular system or whatever, they implement this handshake and they test you out. So remember, after he shook his hand, he started fighting them, and he says, you never know a person till you fight them. That's the handshake protocol of the seraph.
Right.
So everything that we surrounded by is all real. It's associated with the body and associated with the computer. When you're looking at those orbs, that's the immune system, and they come in fleets, just like white blood cells. And we look at that UFO video when NASA laid out that tether in space, and that tether snapped and released all the electromagnetic energy. All those orbs came and swarmed by the hundreds. It swarmed it the same way white blood cells will swarm a virus.
Yes, indeed.
And that's why you see them all around the Mir space station. They're all around. They've been around every single space shuttle flight, because they checking and they holding those viruses in quarantine, and they're not allowing them to spread. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, because you're going to see a lot more of those and fleets of these all over the earth, because they're performing their role as terror.
There have been sighting of orbs, and there's also, if the family remembers, the day that the Earth stood still with Keanu Reeves, when they showed that giant orb that appeared in Central Park, those are actually appearing now as well. They have footage of that as well. So that is circulating. When I came into contact with my orb last year, that was the same thing that was transmitted to me. They said, look, man, if we were to demilitarize the police and the military, in other words, would niggas still be scared to actually stand up and do something? Like, what if we made all of the pistols inoperable? Would people still be scared to fight? So it's put your best foot forward and, have faith.
That's right. We got that around us that protects that which matters most. Now we just got to make ourselves into that which matters most. And the Quran of the Holy Temple, Moorish Science Temple of America says, "Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manyfold, but let him know that the cherubim and the seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide." All right? And they said, and they will lead man to victory, and man will be fully saved and redeemed. So that's seraphim. That's our galactic immune system at work. And so don't fear anything.
On these calls, brother, because there's still a whole lot of hands up. And they're still, pressing one, so it seems. Call from 646-684. That's 646-684. Peace.
Peace. What up? It's Brother Reyes. Peace to the God. Bless any guests. I just want to say something real quick, because I know there's a lot of people in the call queue. One brother in the movie that made a beautiful display of everything that you're speaking of as far as hand sigils. And one main thing, I'm going to just jump around real quick. In the Matrix, before Neo even seen code, did anybody realize that his glowing aura went from green to gold? And another thing, Bruce Lee is the main character that displayed all of that in his movies. All of that slow motion where you see like 3 and 4 hands, that was the sigil from our great ancestors. And remember, every time he would they would show him in a yellow aura or a blue aura, you know what I'm saying? And it would just be his skin. And he was showing you literally what you can do to the physical body, which is the avatar, how he was giving himself electrical shock. And you remember when he went to the high, gangster committee of the underworld of the Asian committee, how they told him stop teaching the Gwai Lo. And the Gwai Lo originated from the original, what's the name of our Asian ancestors? The Hung Dynasty, the Shu Dynasty. It originated from them. That's why they told him stop teaching it to our people, because Bruce Lee loved us, and then what was happening, his DNA was resonating to the original core, like you say, the oneness, like Brother Phil Valentine say, what they try to do to keep us all from is the absolute truth, the oneness of it all. You know what I'm saying? And that dimension you're speaking of, it's here already. If you peace to the brother Raul Nefer. If people listen and do what the Meta Netta is saying, like what you're saying, the 21-day meditation cycle, it happens. Because me speaking, I'm seeing butterflies everywhere I go. I'm seeing flocks of birds swarming in different patterns instead of whole groups. They're breaking into 4 patterns and swarming around on their own. And I'm like, yo, that's the dimension. And it's like, I go do construction work now, so it's like a little rainy out. So I get to thinking, you know what, hold on for a second. Let me walk to the east and then come back to the Ville, and by the time I come back, the sun come out. Or when I'm about to do a little mini job, it look gray outside, and I'll be like, Rod, please, can I get a few minutes? And next thing I know, the sun come glowing out as I go, and as I come back in, it go right in. So what you're saying is real, and it's here. If you're resonating and doing it on your own, even without a group, see, the true giants and the supermasters are the silent keepers. They just do their work. You feel what I'm saying? They listen to like shows like this and get to understand it like I'm understanding. And you just validated everything for me to the 1,000 millionth degree. Because another thing is people have to realize we are all the Neos, like he said, but beware. Like in the movie, when the agents come near you and touch you, what that basically is representing is basically the system setting back into you, trying to switch your DNA through whatever devices that they may have that they sell on the market to us secretly. Like you say, different devices work, different things don't work, and it's for a purpose and a reason, and setting off waves to the bodies to shut down the chakras.
Yeah, like that's right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
That's why we're saying if you don't control your mind, someone else will, because they are constantly broadcasting their frequencies through this new digital TV system. So that even if you don't watch TV yourself, you know, your next door neighbor is transmitting the signal. They don't need towers in cities no more. These big towers like they used to have to transmit their mind control signals. Now they're doing it right through the TV. And like I said, even if you don't yourself, you got 20 other people in your building or whatever, you know, transmitting the signal for you.
Yeah, exactly. And here's another thing. When everybody starts resonating, you're all out there who feel it. You're glowing everything. You'll feel it. There will be agents coming at you. Trust me. Trust me like I'm telling you. Bruh, they will be at you at every angle of whatever you do. You'll see them. And what the thing is, you don't have to be out kicking mad conscious to nobody. These individuals, they harnessing on the glow. They harnessing on that light. You see what I'm saying? That was the most important thing in the Matrix. Nobody said anything about how when he first got conscious, he seen everything in code and green. But when he got super God, he seen everything in gold and just blew out that flame. Remember what the brother said in the previous show about the flame and the light? I forget the brother. It was a polite speaking on it. It was the flame, because you got to remember when Neo reached the super God power, he just carried that flame with him everywhere he went. You feel me?
It's in the Holy Quran of the More Science of America, with the chapter where it says that where Jesus was resurrected, and he came into the room where they was having a banquet, and it said a halo rested on his head, and light unto a light unlike the light of the sun filled all the room. And so that's that glow that comes upon us, and it's just our avatars. These bodies, it has incredible capabilities, because at any moment using our minds, we could transform it from mundane flesh, carnal flesh to flesh divine, just using our minds.
You ain't saying nothing. I'm working on this monster. I'm going to be the incredible real Hulk in 3-dimensional. It's not a game, Shaq. I feel my it's once you know thyself and know how to control your own subconscious, and you take time to validate what is going on in this little classroom that we're sitting into the next level, and you write it down and you work and harness in on it, we all become X-Men. You basically, Brother Xavier. Pretty soon you're going to have that big mansion, and you're just going to have to send the right individuals into places, because It's here and it's now. Like I'm telling you, all of y'all, just when your glow starts kicking in, these people will appear. Trust me. I had to pull myself out of the matrix and had to go do something different. They will appear, but when you start glowing harder and you face to face with them, I'm talking about on the train and walking. These people.
I'm talking about the ones that's going to appear from your own home, from your own family. From your own
school? This is sorry to cut you, Phil. This is deeper. This is when they put that Matrix movie out. They knew what they was. They telling you directly. No, these individuals don't come from you. Even though your family is in many part because they get fed the small program, but these are real program machines running out. Like what was the dude that was always following Neo? Those type of dudes really. What? Them fools really exist, and you don't have to kick no knowledge to nobody walking around and say, look, we Kemetic and this is your origin. Nah, they see that glow, Jack. They see that glow, and they harness in on it, and they will follow you to no end. And what you do is to even get more power from the God as you look at them in the daylight, and you just stare at them. Because when I was on a job, this European man tried to jump me, and I looked at him directly in his cornea. And I didn't flinch. And you know what he turned and said to me? Whatever you got there, young man, you need to hold on to that for life. And he took and did everything for me like he was my servant.
So that's real. You just know that stuff. Unlimited. Our power is unlimited.
So let me hop off of here and everybody do the damn thing. Get it going. And remember one thing. All of these powers that we are getting from the ancestors are to protect the children.
It says here, and all the priests and masters stood and said, all hail. What message from the royal council do you bring? And Jesus said, my brothers and of the silent brotherhood, peace on earth, goodwill towards men. The problem of the age has been solved. A son of man has risen from the dead, has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, flesh in which I come to you was changed with speed of light from human flesh, and so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all the race to be transmuted to the image of Allah. What I have done, all men will do, and what I am, all men should be. Now, whether, people want to look at the name being Jesus or whatever, Osiris, these are all those the first initiates where in the past we had individuals who was able to transcend and be that example. Now for Matrix 5.0, we all going to be transmuted. We all going to be sovereigns. It's a whole nother situation. And it's not going to be no subjects. And in a system like that, you can't have a socioeconomic system like we have here that's based on sovereigns and subjects. When everybody's all sovereigns, well, what's going to happen then? Let me just say this real quick. What's going to happen in our old sovereign system is that everybody's going to be treated with respect because, like Hakim Bey said, he said, if you have a card game and everybody there is card sharks, you got the fairest game in the world because everybody knows all the tricks. But if you have a card game and you have one card shark and the rest of them are not, he's going to take advantage of all of them, which has been happening in this Matrix 4.0. So when Matrix 5.0, when everyone is sovereign, everybody's a god, you're going to have the fairest game in the world because everybody's going to have the exact same powers you got.
Here's a quick thing to what you're saying on the economics. If you take a beautiful look, I've been in New York for a minute. If you take a beautiful look throughout Brooklyn and Queens and everything, you're going to see in like little parks, like when you go downtown Brooklyn, I don't know the name of the parks, but it's close by Fulton, you'll see over the city. I've been seeing this. Has anybody seen this? This isn't something. There's other individuals here that is from another galaxy, and they have been planting corn on top of like in front of major corporations. There's a corn that's just growing up. It's going down, Jack. And the next thing is what you said to the gatekeepers. A Set and a Sar is the main gatekeepers to the higher realms of the levels of attainment in the flesh to attain more spiritual power. The super God to who we are is beyond Aset and Asar. They're the keepers to make sure we can go beyond the halls of Asar. You feel you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
The time, I can't say it. I'm just joyed of what you're saying, and it's just coming through me, man. But we're about to learn what made Aset and Asar the way they were to teach civilization. Did you
say about the parks? Did you say that they're growing corn?
Corn, yeah, like I can't even explain. Like, okay, over here in East New York where I'm at, I went to a dump site. I seen like 5 rows of corn somebody planted. Then I went downtown Brooklyn, almost headed to like the Manhattan Bridge. Like, you know how they have the Westinghouse School and there's a park over there? Somebody just been planting corn over there. I'm walking, I'm like, is that one single stalk of corn growing? Where's all this corn coming from the city? I'm just
I tell you this, as I explained in Chicago when I did my lecture, you know, corn, when you see corn manifested, the maize, you know what I'm saying, that's dealing with feeding the ancestral spirits of this particular landmass, and it also is signaling the return of the energy of Quasicoto, which time period that we're in. So we have the meshing of a lot of realities taking place right here. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But brother, I gotta continue.
Let me hop off of here though. But I say to everybody,
represents abundance as well. Okay, so that's why somewhere like Chicago, that is dealing with Chicago is the Chi town. The Chi is the chi. The chi is the energy. It's surrounded by corn and water. That's why it is, you know, the energy center of the quote unquote continental United States, surrounded by the rivers and surrounded by abundance of corn. When you go through the skyline, the only thing you're going to see is banking institutions and things of that nature. That's why that CS Tower has twin pillars on the top of it. You know what I'm saying? Resonating the energy that you would go to the World Trade Center, okay, which are 2 magnets, okay, with that one antenna on top. But the Sears Tower got both of them on top, on one monolithic, on a monolith. So the World Trade Center across the street from it, they had that one monolith across, right? The hotel, the Millennium Hotel, that's the same monolith that you've seen in Space Odyssey, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's what it is.
But see, the funny thing is, those are power grids. Anytime you see a great structure with monoliths that represent our great ancestors and the achievements to the earlier monuments that we built, those are actually power grids. And basically what they're doing they're taking the same residual power that the brother is speaking on and resonating energy for themselves. But like what 9/11 was, and we all know, I don't want to speak on it like that, but now just think about how many spirits resonate right in that square. And how many people, who are the people that walk around a black square and give that square energy? But now we have a square space with no black granite square, but just souls in a square going straight up and down. What do you think dimension lies right there?
And on another note,
let me hop off of here. Later.
Peace.
Yeah, man, this thing gonna be interesting, Hakeem.
It is.
We got all the minds. You know what I'm saying?
It is, man. I'm looking for all these brothers and sisters to take part. So
gotta galvanize.
That's
all
right.
Let's go to caller from 678. That's 678-694. Peace.
Good evening, Till Brothers and Brother Hakeem. This is Zula Zule, someone that you connected with a good while back. I just had to touch your energy because I am 65. I'm a Pleiadian like you, Hakeem. Maybe the Till brothers are too. I don't know. But I have been in this work for 30 years on the other side with the 1%ers digging up their crap and their nonsense to understand why we have been robbed of the truth about the fact that our very being is a receiving and transmitting tower, and we have the authority to have everything, but they robbed it robbed us of this knowledge for so many lifetimes, and to see finally that some people of color have the quality of knowledge that I have been dancing in for years. You have no idea what it can feel like for an elder that has really been away from her people but still doing my work, you understand? to see and feel all of the work that you young ones have done. And I salute you, because today, the 27th, is a high-powered day. All the nonsense about Elenin was just the normal bullshit that they're going to serve us. But I was promised a gift, and the gift is this. And I just honor this, because I've never doubted anything that Spirit was doing, but we in our flesh require physical manifestations, and it wasn't happening. And now I understand why, because it's never about me as an individual. It's about me as part of the whole. And with all of you now revealing to me so clearly how much vast knowledge you've uncovered for yourselves and how you have shared it, it is just a privilege to be here at the onset of your delivery of this information, and I salute you. I have one question because there'll be people that I refer to the site that may be struggling with cash. I see it's about $5 a day. Is this a 7-day-a-week activity?
Yes, we're going to be doing the stream 24/7, and so those without cash, that's why we set up the point program, where, participating, posting, commenting, they could generate points that could pay for a lot of that. And also for those who are short on cash, I have another website and system set up called All Things on Earth, where the different ebooks and the different MP3s and stuff like that, they could sell just by referring people to the site and receive commissions.
Okay.
Like the ebooks, we pay 50% commission, so every ebook, they'll get 50% of whatever the sale price is. So I do have mechanisms set up for those who don't have, as much money, where they could, participate. Because I want everybody. I don't want that to be a barrier for anyone.
I hear you. I saw that it said something about if you miss payments for 3 days. So if someone goes in there, are we expected to pay by the day, by the week, whatever? Because to avoid being canceled out because you didn't pay in 3 days, what must one do from the start to avoid that?
If a brother or sister has problems, because this is really a participatory thing, so we want people to participate in the mastermind meditations every day. But if anybody has problems, and I'm gonna post that on, if anybody's having financial problems or whatever, just contact me. Let me know. And like I said, I have different things set up for them to make money over and beyond, what that course, so they can have a flow of income, a flow of passive income. I have a whole course set up that will teach brothers and sisters how to make money online using Web 2.0 and free advertisements on Facebook or whatever, how they could begin setting up passive income for themselves so they could focus on developing and evolving themselves so they don't have to be chasing money around.
That's good. Well, listen, I'm going to let someone else talk, brothers. I salute you. Thank you so much, and please don't let me hang up. Just let me listen.
All right. Peace. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
Peace. All right, I want to go to the next caller. That would be caller calling in from 760-881. Peace, caller.
Peace and blessings, brothers. I just want to piggyback on everything that's been said in terms of just thanking you all so much for putting out this beautiful knowledge. I came up, my first awakening happened in Brooklyn through Sacred Woman, like in 2001. And this new knowledge, it's like y'all talking about the Matrix is a trip, because I have all of them, and I watch it continuously. Like, I can't get enough of them, right? And I relocated from California to North Carolina like a month ago. I just knew I needed to get out of California, bring my husband and my 2 teenagers, and we're in a small town in North Carolina. We're loving it, and I just knew before I left California, I heard it like so strong in my spirit. Like, literally, I took all my Facebook down. I'm a former entertainer. Took my website down, had to turn off the television. I haven't turned the TV back on since. And I just started getting all this downloaded information. I started hearing things like mind control, TV, fluoride, and I just researched, and I found all of you all. And it was like Neo. Like, I started finding all of y'all online and just through my phone on YouTube. And I've always been a searcher, went through every bit of every religion, of course, as we all have, every path. I just turned 43 years old. And so today, earlier today, I was, you just hear something, I was like, I need to know about black holes. What's a black hole? I know I'm a black hole, but what does that really mean about being a black hole, right? And so I've been, like, in the house quiet. There's no noise in my house whatsoever. My teenager's at school, so I'm just here to think. And I heard White Star, and so I wrote it down. Then I listened to a lecture on Dr. Charles Finch gave on the black hole. And then in my Encyclopedia of Spirits, I opened my daughter came home, and she opened it. She said, "Oh, Mommy, I moved right to Kali," and I didn't think nothing of it. I said, "Oh, that's great." And then I did it again today, this evening, right before I turned you guys on, you brothers on. And Kali, and here it says an unstoppable force. When you were talking about the hand scissors dance, and her destruction was about the dance. She's an unstoppable force, whirling dance of destruction. She destroys her children. She is the corn mother who simultaneously grinds out life and death, because all I kept hearing was, this is an ending, it's an ending, but it's a beginning. It could never be an ending for us because we are in everything. And I just knew that the gravitational pull, I mean, what you're talking about, Brother Hakim, I'm just, like everyone else, so excited on this high level of yes. That's all I could hear is yes, yes, yes. This is what, all the quietness is about, all the introspecting, because I'm just in a place of gratitude and knowing, just complete acceptance. Like, I feel I'm a great mother, meaning, I am a mother. I mother everybody, everything, I have the mother energy so strong, and my incarnation has been about knowing I'm vibrating on love and acceptance and gratitude. And it's not about trying to save no bunch of people. I just have a trusting that I would find everybody would find me. And even if nobody ever said anything to me out loud, telepathically we were all on the same wavelength. So to hear it manifested in these words, it's like an incredible confirmation of spirit just continuously leading me gently and lovingly along this path, because my husband's a truck driver. He's not even home but like once a month. And I got, what I'm saying? I'm here, but I know I'm never by myself. This is the path. It's set up that way so that I can be the conduit, so I can be the one in the home setting up heaven on earth for all of us, creating this world. So as you all were talking earlier, I'm on my 7th affirmation, you know what I'm saying? Invocation, with power. But I just want to thank you again. I want to let everybody else get in, but there's nothing like, and when the sister was talking about we are a receptor and a conductor, that came to me through spirit, and it's something about us being in the water. We can't be afraid to get in some water, whether it be a bath, the ocean.
Whoa, sis. I can't believe you're saying that.
Stay in that water, because that is where we are getting these downloads, and I don't even, all I know is I don't even consciously know what's happening. I just know to sit in it, be in it, and it's happening.
We are in tune. Do you know that was one of the things I was going to mention tonight? Some of my best insights come from sitting in the bathtub. I don't know. Like I said, I shouldn't say I don't know I know what it is. What I do is I run that bathtub, and literally, sometimes I got like a whole library of books inside the bathtub, and I sit in there for a good hour. And in that water, some of the best things come. And now I realize why wherever the Moors was in those cities, sometimes one city may have 700 public baths. The Moors stayed in water because it lightened the load of the organs. At the same time, something about being in the water, the living entity, and so and it's a conductor. So when you're in that water, all those vibrations from the subconscious mind, from the divine, the subconscious mind just loves that quantum computer. Just loves when you immerse your avatar in water.
Yes,
that is sacred.
Yes, and we got to get out of this mind program. Go ahead, brother.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
How do you like your move to North Carolina?
Oh, it's beautiful. I've traveled all over. I grew up in Southern California, but I went in the military. I went in the Marine Corps right out of high school, so I've been on the East Coast. My children were born in Atlanta. I moved back to California in 2006. So we just leaving out back, I love it. It's quiet. There's a lot of land. I'm on like an acre. I'm like almost. I'm exactly 60 miles from Fayetteville, so I'm in a small town. Like everybody always asks me in my family, how'd you find us? Because it's such a small little town. I said, well,
that's where my ancestors are from. My ancestors are from North Carolina. My ancestors are from over by the Pamlico Sound. As a matter of fact, there's a whole town named after my great-great-grandfather over there called Latham, North Carolina. That was named after my great-great-grandfather, Joe Latham. Okay. And so I got my ancestries all right there. They were all Cherokee on that land there.
I'm right on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina. Like if you come up from South Carolina, I'm the second exit, like literally across the border. Like south of the border, if everybody know about 95, I'm number 2. I'm like 1 mile from south of the border. Right, and my whole family came from the Virginia area, and I have pictures of my great-great-great-grandmother in full Cherokee regalia. So,
wow. See, now, when you join up, I want you to post that. See, that's the type of stuff, I want the members just to share that, share all that stuff. All this is part. See, we're gonna unify our minds. We're gonna be able to draw upon one another. I'll be able to see your land through your eyes. Remember, the subconscious mind is the operating system for everything and everybody. So that's why you ever had dreams where you see in a place and it's like you know this place. You know this place is a real place. You may actually seeing that through somebody else's eyes. We have the ability to actually do that. When that brother, when he drew all of New York City just by glimpsing, it wasn't just the stuff that he caught with his eyes, but it was the stuff that people who was walking around New York City who was actually seeing it for him. He was able to tap into that.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, so when we come together and we form that one mind, I'm telling you, it's going to be powerful. We'll be able to draw on all the sights, all the hearing of that one mind, even all the strength. I could be at one place at one time, and I'll be able to lift up the car by just drawing on the strength of everyone in that mastermind. It's all available to us.
And something about the time moving up. Let me just real quick. I just turned 43 in Earth years, and I'm a normal woman. I have never missed a menstrual cycle except twice, and I was pregnant each time. My cycle is perfectly normal. But I promise you, in the last 40 days, I've had 3 cycles. And
wow.
I said to my husband, I said, because, I've been married, a long time. I've been with him 20 years. I said, sometimes as a woman, you might forget, and then I have to call him and say, am I due, But,
wow.
it came within so fast. And, a full cycle. It's normal. It's like 2 days, whatever, but a full cycle. And I had to go into my meditation and say, well, what is this? Because that's so
We're being transformed. We're being transformed right now.
Everything. The energy in my, because I do yoga and I breathe and whatnot, but the energy was settling in my meridians. I didn't even know anything about my meridians. Brother Hakim Bey told me that's what it was. I said, what's up with my thumb? And then there was energy in my neck, and it was moving. And then one night in my sleep last week, I dreamt that there was something about my knee. And right when I woke up, in my knee, it was hurting so bad I couldn't even move it the next day. And it was something about an exercise. I literally got up in the middle of the night and started doing this exercise, trying to bend my knee. And then I went to the alternate nostril breathing and had to remove it, and then it went away. It went away like that following day. But, I know that it's physical because everything, there is no outside, right? If it's happening in the atmosphere, it's happening in my inner sphere. It's happening in my body.
With that, I want to...
Yeah, but thank you, brothers, for just the love. And as soon as I get an opportunity, I'll get on the website and sign right up as soon as I get off the phone with y'all.
What's your name again, sis? What's your name?
I'm D.
What was it again?
D. Yes, sir.
All right. I'll keep an eye out. I want to see that picture, too. All right, peace.
Peace. Okay, we have 4 minutes remaining. Let me go to caller from 513-200. That's 513-200. Peace, caller.
Peace. How are you?
Peace.
Peace. All is well.
I was just wanting to say we are so in sync that I don't even think we realize how in sync we are in each other's heads. Really. Everything that you guys talked about, everything that I've been going through the past 2 weeks hit this on the nose. I really don't think I really think we really need to tap into each other because we are very powerful, very, very powerful. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sis, for that confirmation. It's just a confirmation. I know everybody's feeling it. I've been talking to people, coming up to this launch about it, and everybody's like, man, that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. I just know. So I know it's just a matter of, but it was like so many bits and pieces that I had to take those 3 months just to organize it under the divine. The divine was just on me the whole time. I couldn't even sleep. I literally could not sleep. The divine was just teaching me at such a fast pace constantly. My hand couldn't keep up. The book I put out, I wrote the book over 3 times because every time I thought I was finished, the divine would come with a whole new batch of information. I had to write the whole thing over to incorporate that in there. So I definitely know that what we're feeling is a lot of us out there feeling. And what we need to do, like I said, is form this community and tell others who we know are feeling the same way and say, look,
there's something out here that's exactly just like when Trinity talked to Neo and whispered in his ear, I know what you've been doing. I know what you've been feeling. I know what you've been going through. But now there's a community, be a part of it, like Zion. You know what I'm saying? Be a part of it, of those who are like-minded, so we can create, so we can overcome this consensus reality.